City has sports like 96.5 The Fan.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City! A 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime! Kansas City wins the game!
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you. Rob is here as well, taking you up until 6 o'clock. Today's show is going to be a little bit different. We are in the middle of the Chiefs week. We are going to get to the Chiefs coming up in just a bit, but we are going to take a trip around to the 3 local schools. We're going to stop by K-State, talk about their loss yesterday against Drake, a very fun and competitive second half and overtime period. Also learn about the transfer portal. Missouri is looking for a new quarterback. We're going to be joined by Gabe DeArmond. We'll also catch up with KU as they are working the portal as well and also wrapping up their non-con schedule and looking to get back on top of the Big 12. We're going to talk some football. We're going to have some fun. We're going to give away some pizzas. We got a lot to get into in today's show. We have our station Christmas party coming up from 6 to 9. Rob and Drew had a little bit of beef. Now, I'm not speaking out of turn here because I saw the incident. I was standing right there. Rob goes up to Drew during the commercial break and says, hey, you know, we're going to be at the company Christmas party. Are you going to be there? And I wish you guys should have saw his face. He scoffed at my dear brother, Rob Britton, and said, yeah, and then walked off. Do we have beef with the Midday show, Rob? We don't bother anybody here on this show. Me and you come in, we keep our head down, we do our work, we try to put on a good show, and we try to go home. And the way that Drew answered that question and then walked off makes me wonder, is something going on behind the scenes? Is there a little producer beef? I don't have any beef with the Midday show, but if you got beef with the Midday show, that means I got to inherit your beef, and now I got to go at the Midday show because you and Drew aren't getting along?
I was unaware of any beef. I'll try to get to the bottom of it, but I hope I'm not beefing with Drew. I like Drew. Maybe he didn't take too kindly the other day. We were joking in the office, and I called him a lightweight. Maybe that would have been, but I don't know what's going on. It seemed like a level 10 response to a level 1 question.
How is he mad at you calling him a lightweight when he is a lightweight? I've gone out before, and I've had a couple of drinks with Drew Nixon. He's a lightweight. You're not speaking out of turn. That's an observation based on your experiences of being around him. I hope today he paces himself because you get 1 or 2 LaCroix and my boy, he's feeling a little loopy. I just want him to take care of himself. I want him to be on the up and up. We got a lot to get into. We are going to start today with the Kansas City Chiefs. I appreciate you guys listening. Before we move along, hit it, Rob.
Pizza time on The Drive. Carrington, dial me up right now. 913-586-7965. Caller number 6 wins a pizza from our friends over at Pizza Tassio. Pizza Tassio is Kansas City's best New York-style pizza, and they have taken over the town. They lovingly use 100% whole milk mozzarella, all organic tomato sauce with locally grown fresh ingredients, all made by KC guys who both know and love pizza. They also have a killer selection of craft and local beers, plus unique wine. So whether you're hungry enough for a whole pie or just want a slice or two, be sure to visit them now at pizzatasio.com. That's pizzatasio.com.
All right, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. I also need you to tell one friend. It'd be great if you could tell 2 friends. I just need you to tell one friend. And make sure that you have a good time at your company holiday party. Have some fun, some fellowship. Talk to somebody maybe at the office that you usually don't talk to. I would just like to spread that message, spread a little holiday cheer. This is how I would like to start today's show. You guys know that saying where they say that your best ability is availability, and the Chiefs have had these issues. They're not dissimilar from any other team in the National Football League. You've had your guys who have dealt with injuries in the past. Well, right now, the Chiefs could desperately use some stability at left tackle. they have had stability at basically every other position on the field except left tackle. In the beginning of the season, they tried it with Kingsley Suamataia. They then had a Wanye Morris experience. They had DJ Humphries start, I guess, and now they have gone to Joe Thuney, but no one thinks that Joe Thuney playing left tackle is now a long-term solution to it. This is why I bring this up, and this is why I think we should lead the show with it again today. You guys know Andy Reid's thought process on this. If you don't practice, you don't play. Did you guys know that DJ Humphries, as of today, has missed more days of practice for the Chiefs than he has actually practiced with the Kansas City Chiefs? Since acquired from the Arizona Cardinals and since coming here and playing in the Sunday Night Football game, he has been absent for more days than he has been present. Is DJ Humphries somebody that you can count on moving forward? Because we're talking about somebody who didn't have a normal offseason. I wouldn't feel this way if this was Wanye Morris, for example, who was going to be unable to finish the final stretch of the regular season. We're talking about a player who came into the season with an injury, a player who didn't have any of the offseason, hasn't been playing, hasn't been practicing, played for 30 minutes this season, and has been unable to finish a game and has also been unable to go through the walkthroughs that they are having. Yesterday's practice day was real light for the Chiefs. No pads. They're outside in shorts. It was as light of a football work day that you could possibly have. DJ Humphries wasn't healthy enough to go through that. I think you would have to say that DJ Humphries is also not going to play on Saturday against the Houston Texans because he has already missed the first 2 days of practice. He is not a limited participant. He is just simply not practicing for the Chiefs. Is he a player that we think that Kansas City can count on down the stretch? Because they could really use him down the stretch. I can give you guys some numbers, and we talked about the amount of hits, but if you look at Patrick Mahomes and how many hits that he's taken in comparison to his peers, it is a lot. And this team could really use some stability at the tackle positions, and it doesn't sound like for another week you're going to have it. If you're not going to play DJ Humphries in the game against against the Houston Texans, I don't know how you're going to play him in the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's no practice time for that and a very, very quick turnaround. So I'm looking at these two games as a package deal. If you miss the first one, you get the second one free. So if DJ Humphries is going to miss 3 consecutive games, and we also believe that this team is going to possibly have everything wrapped up and clinched, so they're not going to need to play that Broncos game, we're talking about DJ Humphries starting left tackle for Kansas City with basically no practice time and only playing a quarter and a half, and he's going to be your starting left tackle for the postseason. Now, I don't think you can be all the way surprised about this, but I do think there was a hope that when you went out and made the move to get DJ Humphries, that he was going to put periods where there were question marks or possibly an exclamation point. I don't know if we're going to be in that spot as we get closer and closer to the postseason. Rob, it looks like at least all the options that they have tried out there at left tackle, there has been a flaw to all of them. There was a flaw to Kingsley. There was a flaw to Wanye Morris. Joe Thuney, I think, is a fine option. He's just playing out of position, and now you're reshuffling that you're maybe not as strong as you want to be at left tackle, and you also move the best left guard in the National Football League, and you move him, and his replacement obviously isn't as good as he is. So there is no right answer, so to speak, on how they're going to handle this offensive line. That's why I think the DJ Humphries conversation is so important. It is in the best interest of everybody for him to get healthy and him to be a league average left tackle in the National Football League. But as we are wrapping up the regular season and they just don't have a whole lot of practices yet, so there isn't a whole lot of time to get physically ready. There isn't a lot of time to get right. Rob, we're looking at a player right now that is missing more time than he has been there for.
This show always says there are, March and April problems, and there are in-season problems as far as solutions go. The Chiefs have tried a lot of in-season solutions to a March-April problem. Because make no mistake about it, what happened in March and April is why the Chiefs are starting the left tackle in December. And their solutions have not worked. DJ Humphries might work, but as you laid out, he hasn't practiced as much as he has. That's kind of the risk you take when you add a free agent on he got added on November 26th. When that kind of thing happens, you're usually not adding Jonathan Ogden types. So the mistakes, the errors, the miscalculations, whatever word you choose to use, this team made in free agency, this team made in the draft, are haunting this team in December. And they have tried things in December to fix the problem, and they have not been fixes. DJ Humphries with his health, and despite Joe Thuney playing a good half of football, all the numbers will tell you the second half in the Browns game, Joe Thuney was not a good left tackle, which is fine. That's not his position. So Thuney's not working. Humphries isn't working. Suamataia was a disaster, and Wanye Morris didn't work either. This is what happens when you're trying to solve March-April problems in November, December. There is no magic cure, super elixir on the team right now to fix these ills. The Chiefs, either by game plan or whatever, have to find a way to manage the fact that they are playing with a deficit at left tackle.
I also think that we should talk about this in the open, and coming up in a bit. Speaking of beef, there's more beef that is out there. It's just not the beef that you have with Drew. There's some other beef that's out there. We'll get to that coming up in just a bit. I don't want to only focus on who didn't practice today. Patrick Mahomes practiced once again. We are continuing to trend in the direction that Patrick Mahomes will play on Saturday against the Houston Texans. I also think it's important to note that Hollywood Brown also practiced as well. I believe that Hollywood Brown is going to play on Saturday. I don't think I'm breaking any news, and we're going to have James Palmer coming up in the 4 o'clock hour of the show, and I imagine he's going to tell you something very similar that he expects Hollywood Brown to play. But for the most part, and I understand that Mahomes is not 100% healthy right now, and there's still some questions about left tackle. For the most part, this is the team. These are the pass rushers you were going to have. These are the corners you have. And I think the Chiefs, in a lot of ways, are starting to prepare their roster for the postseason. If you notice the last couple of weeks, who's been on the field and who hasn't been on the field? How are they using certain guys? We're going to talk about Xavier Worthy. I've got some stats for you guys for Xavier Worthy. The last 4 or 5 weeks, they have really found the right ways to use Xavier Worthy and get the most out of him. The team is starting to trend towards the postseason and starting to solidify their roster a little bit. There are only a couple of weeks left. There are only a couple of practices left for Kansas City. And before you know it, you're going to have all your Christmas shopping done. You're going to bring in the new year, and we're going to look up, and it's going to be time for the Chiefs to start practicing and preparing for the postseason. It is right around the corner. Coming up on the other side, somebody on the Houston Texans is talking spicy, and Doug Gottlieb. We have an update from yesterday. We'll get to it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
This Friday only in Old Navy stores. Long sleeve tees are just $5 for adults and $4 for kids. Yep, long sleeve tees are $5 for adults, $4 for kids. But hurry, this deal is one day only this Friday at Old Navy stores. Valid 12/20 in stores and select styles only.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
Every piece of land has a story. For the Nelsons, it's cruising around their Montana ranch on a John Deere Gator XUV 835R. With 3,000 acres, there's plenty of work to do.
We're not afraid to jump in and help each other out.
That's how they've kept their ranch going for 5 generations.
It's all about efficiency.
Like teaching visitors to fly fish.
The whole joy with fly fishing is matching the hatch.
Run with us on a Gator XUV 835R and start telling your story. Learn more at johndeere.com/radio.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu, second to none. And don't forget about our 29-degree man-sized drafts. Our happy hour will have you coming back for more. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll put a sheet on it every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry, put a sheet on it with Bounce.
This holiday at T-Mobile, I'm joined by a special co-anchor.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Snoop Deal Double G.
Snoop, let's talk about T-Mobile.
Okay, cool.
This holiday, get 4 lines for $25 a line, plus 4 iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and the all-new camera control on us.
Let's get cracking, like a breakfast egg.
You can use those eggs to make some eggnog, Snoop.
Respect.
And people do love T-Mobile, where you can save on every plan versus the other big guys when you switch.
You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
Always a great stocking stuffer, Snoop.
We up out of here.
Hold your horses, Snoop D-O-double-G. Let's remind people one more time.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get 4 iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us, plus 4 lines for $25. Now drop that joke.
With 24-month bill credits for eligible trade-ins and 4 new lines without pay. Well-qualified customers plus taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits or credit stop and balance on required finance agreement is due $999.99. Credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save on wireless and streaming versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence requires iOS 18.1 or later.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and hold the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With Chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
The Commission, Uncle Paulie, P. Diddy, Caesar Leo, De Janeiro, Charlie Baltimore, Iceberg Slim, the most shady, Frankie Baby. We here.
Do you know what beef is? Let's talk about beef. Do you know what beef is? Because it's out there. I'm going to go through 3 examples of beef. Let's start with the first one. Now, I watch a lot of college football. I watch a lot of NFL, but sometimes there are players that slip through the cracks. I have absolutely no clue who Tim Settle is. I have never heard of Tim Settle. If you had asked me yesterday, who's Tim Settle, what team does he play for, I would have had no answer to give you. Well, today I learned that he plays defensive tackle for the Houston Texans. Why are we talking about Tim Settle? Tim Settle had this to say about the Kansas City Chiefs, and he had a warning to Patrick Mahomes.
I definitely see this O-line. It definitely has its loopholes, and it definitely has its their struggles. But, I feel like that we can take advantage of that. We got an elite D-line. I feel like Pat's a little banged up, so I don't know if he's going to play or not, but I hope he's mobile enough because we coming in Arrowhead.
You guys plan to get after that?
Yeah, for sure. Pat better make a good decision. I ain't making no threats. I'm making promises.
Tim, why did you do this? On one side, you know what? I'm not even mad. I love the confidence. I love the bravado. I love the back and forth in the media. Is your game good enough to cash this in? Because you are writing an incredible check that I'm not 100% certain if your game can deliver. Now, Tim Settle has had a good season this year. He has had 22 tackles, 5 sacks this season. He is in the middle of a very good defense. Tim, I don't want these words to drown you coming up in a couple of days because you're doing a lot of wolfing. He said, I'm not making threats. I'm making promises. Tim, you put the bullseye on your back. You could have came into this game completely under the radar. Fans wouldn't have booed you. It wouldn't be bulletin board material. Wouldn't be any of this. If you're an offensive lineman on the Kansas City Chiefs, and right now you're a little wounded, you're a little banged up, your quarterback's banged up right now, you're getting criticism from everybody right now. If I'm Andy Heck, if I'm the offensive line coach, we don't have to watch a lot of film today. You know what? Wednesday is going to be a light day. It's late in the season. You guys don't need to be in pads hitting anyway. Keep your bodies fresh. You play a lot of football in a condensed period of time. I'm putting Tim Settle on the board. I'm going to upscale it to 4K, and I'm going to let this play for a little bit. I wanted to seep in what he just had to say. This is not an indictment on how he feels about Patrick Mahomes. This is an indictment of how he feels about Creed Humphrey. This is an indictment on how he feels about Trey Smith. This is how he feels about Jawan Taylor. He thinks y'all food out there. You're going to let that man come into our home, our house, while we're still playing for this one seed, a team that we could possibly see in a couple of weeks in the postseason, and you're going to let this man talk to you like this? You got to go out there and start playing with some pride, because the offensive line didn't play with pride on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. Patrick Mahomes had his worst completion percentage. He was 19 for 38. He left with an injury. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't protect their quarterback. It was bad. Let's get refocused. Let's get remotivated. Let's lock in. Did you hear what Tim Settle just had to say? This is directed at you, Creed Humphrey.
I definitely see this O-line. It definitely has its loopholes, and it definitely has its their struggles. But, and I feel like that we can take advantage of that. We got an elite D-line. I feel like Pat's a little banged up, so I don't know if he's going to play or not, but I hope he's mobile enough because we coming in Arrowhead.
You guys plan to get after that?
Yeah, for sure. Pat better make a good decision. I ain't making no threats. I'm making promises.
All right. There's nothing left to add to what Tim Settle had to say. The challenge has been issued. The gauntlet has been laid down. Is that offensive line going to pick it up? Is Tim Settle a name that we're going to hear on Saturday, or is he going to be quiet? We know the Chiefs know about this. We've seen too many examples of this. This message has been delivered to the people that it needs to be delivered to. If I'm the Chiefs, I'm playing this on the Jumbotron. He said this in a press conference. Put it up on the Jumbotron, what he just said. Put the closed captioning on there. I want everybody to hear it. I want everybody to read it. I want everybody to feel it. This man just said he's coming into our home and he's about to get after our quarterback. Not today. That's not how we're about to get down. That's beef number one. Let's get to beef number two. So you guys remember yesterday we told you guys about an issue between Adam Schefter and Doug Gottlieb. Gottlieb kind of questioned a little bit of Schefter's reporting. Schefter fired back and said, why don't you focus on your basketball team? You guys aren't winning any games. Focus on yourself. Gottlieb went on his radio show, kind of walked it back a little bit. But Doug Gottlieb is going to Doug Gottlieb, you know? I have this problem sometimes. Sometimes you just start talking, you know? Sometimes you don't even know what you're saying. Sometimes you just start talking. People will come up to me and be like, oh, you said that thing during the show, and I look at them confused. I don't remember saying that. I'm not saying I didn't say it. I don't remember saying that. I'm guessing this happens to Doug Gottlieb. Listen to what he said yesterday about their next basketball game. You guys know that not only is he a radio host, the Doug Gottlieb Show through Fox Sports, he also now is the head coach at Green Bay University. Listen to what he said about their non-con schedule. Listen to this.
Part of the reason I want to play better teams is like, it's 2 degrees outside, it's snowing. Like, I don't really like the idea of nobody you coming in here and like, I always thought, like, what do we learn playing a game where we win by 20? But there's a methodology to it. And I'm going to have to adjust moving forward.
I understand what he is saying. You don't want to see your team just play a bunch of scrimmages. You want to see your team go up against the best. Iron sharpens iron. You want fun non-con games. Rob, you don't want to just go and make the drive to Lawrence to watch KU beat up on Howard. You want to see them play the NC States. You want the North Carolina at home. You want Creighton. You want to see your team play light competition and get ready for a tough Big 12 slate and the NCAA tournament. Green Bay's not different. We want to play good teams. We want to incentivize you to come out here and watch us. Well, they had a game yesterday. They played Michigan Tech. Now, I've never heard of Michigan Tech. It's a D2 school, but I went to a D2 school, so I ain't never going to disrespect the D2 boys. Michigan Tech beat Green Bay yesterday, 72-70. So you're telling me he bashed Nobody University and said we don't want to just win by 20 and then turn around and then they lost to Nobody U and lost by 2. That's what you're telling me happened? So he said one thing, and he, kind of like what could happen to Tim Settle on Saturday, he wrote a check that his team couldn't cash. Is that how you hear that story, Rob? Because that's how I hear it. We don't want to play Nobody U. I'm sure you paid Nobody U a sum of money to come to your gym, and then they came to your gym and they beat you yesterday? That's what happened, Doug Gottlieb?
I mean, I understand Doug's methodology. It makes sense. Hey, I don't want to play Nobody U. It's cold outside. I want to get the gym full, and to play the gym full, you got to play good team. The logic's there. But, Doug, you're one of the bad teams. You're one of the Nobody U. If Kansas scheduled Green Bay, I promise it's not a game on my tickets where I'm like, hey, man, I might need to take Friday off because they play Green Bay at 7. It's a tight window for me to get up there. You are, in fact, Nobody U. You are 2-10 and 0 now an 8-game losing streak. You might want to pad the wins with some more Michigan Techs. Get Baker on the schedule. Who's that team that UMKC put 150 on? Get them on the schedule. Fly them out to Green Bay because nobody in the gym watching a win is better than a full gym as you get pummeled by bums.
So that is beef number 2. I'll get to the last beef. Now, I know I said a couple of days ago that we were not going to spend a lot of time talking about this, and I maintain that we're not going to spend a lot of time. Travis Hunter is 21 years old. His girlfriend, and I haven't even taken the time to try to learn that young woman's name. I don't need to know that young woman's name. All I want, and this is my beef, is I want to be removed from their group chat. Have you ever been in a family group chat, and it's a lot of people in this group chat, and maybe you guys are trying to coordinate something, Christmas, Thanksgiving, some other family function, and you're just getting these random texts from these numbers that you've never seen before, and you know that you're related, but you don't really know Aunt Sally like that. I mean, y'all family and all, but, I mean, y'all ain't family. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what we're stuck in right now with this Travis Hunter story. I just want to talk about Travis Hunter getting ready for the NFL draft. He's going to play in his bowl game. I think that's pretty commendable. For a kid who could possibly be the number 1 overall pick and they're playing in the Alamo Bowl, the fact that Travis Hunter is going to play in the bowl game is a lot of respect towards Deion Sanders and the program that they've created. I wish we have spent the time talking about that, but no, we got to spend the time talking about Travis Hunter and his girlfriend. Now, I understand Travis speaking on it. You're the famous one. Why is your girlfriend doing 7-minute TikTok videos about you guys' relationship? Number one, you got to tell her to get off that phone. And I know it's tough when you're 19, 20, 21 years old. I can't imagine being that age, and every time you hop on social media, everybody has a comment about your boyfriend or your relationship or your character, and these people have never met you before. I want to offer up some very sound advice. You have to learn how to shut it off. And the worst thing that you can do, I don't care if you are 21 and you're receiving this message, or you are 51 and receiving this message, and sometimes you like to dabble in the Facebook. The worst thing you can do is optionally give people information that they are going to turn around and use against you. They are going to take your transparency and they are going to use it to mock you. That is one of the worst things that you can do on social media. Remember this. These people do not care. You should not concern yourself with the opinions of people that don't exist when you're not on your phone. This is a very important message that I want to share with everybody, especially Travis Hunter and his girlfriend. The only reason we're doing this is I just want to play this one bite and we'll move on. We'll never talk about this again. This is the last day that we'll talk about this. But I just want to know why you optionally hopped on Al Gore's internet and gave this information to us. Why?
He doesn't drink. And I'm Hispanic, so I have tequila like in my veins. So I drink. I don't drink a lot, but I drink. And I used to party and stuff. And he would literally drive me, sit outside for hours while I'm inside like partying, and then take us home. Like he never tried to be like, oh, just because I drink, you can't drink, or you can't hang out with your friends.
Why did you tell us that story? I'm serious. Why did you tell us that? For what reason? What was the purpose? What was gained? What valuable field information do we require by you telling us that story? Travis, I really do feel for you, brother. This was a week that we should be celebrating you, as Travis Hunter is one of the greatest college football players that we have ever seen. He is. Remember all the players that you and I looked up to as a kid? The Cam Newtons, the Reggie Bush, the Darren Sproles, the Tommy Frazier. Travis Hunter is one of those individuals. And on what should be the greatest week of his life, your girlfriend is telling us stories about how you used to be her Uber driver at parties and you would sit outside for hours. That's what your girlfriend's telling us on the interweb. Bro, you got to get your house in order, Travis. You got to. Come on, man. Tighten up right now. It's not looking good, man. It's not looking good. It's really not. I'm pulling for you, Travis. I really am. Deep down, I want you to be the best you can be. You got to tighten some of this up, man. Got to tighten some of this up. Coming up in a little bit, we're about to head out to Manhattan, Kansas, and be joined by Derek Young. Let's talk a little bit of K-State basketball. K-State fans, go tell your friends we're going to talk about you guys. Now, I know this might not be the best time to talk about this, but you guys can't cry. You want more coverage and only want the good coverage. No, you got to take the coverage when you guys lost to Drake yesterday down at T-Mobile Center. That's part of it. I just want to play one cut from Jerome Tang. Jerome Tang, who sounds and is starting to feel like Bruce Weber, who knows more Bible verses. But again, that's neither here nor there. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds to me like Jerome Tang is Bruce Weber, who can quote Proverbs. Again, neither here nor there. I want to play for you what Jerome Tang had to say, because Jerome Tang said the quiet part out loud yesterday about his basketball team.
Great group of dudes there, and they're working really, really hard, and they're trying to put into just a few months what, some of the teams have multiple years to do. And, you see a lot of this, but for any fans, like the ones who are, or any people who are reaching out and saying negative things to these guys, man, shame on you. Shame on you. We watched this, on the way up, we watched the ESPN 30 for 30 broke, and I've seen it multiple times. But the thing that stood out to me this time was all of the athletes talked about the pressure that built when they got money, right? The first few times I watched it, it was about how they just wasted their money. But this time what really stuck out was the pressure that they face when they have money, because They feel like, well, I've got to try and deliver something now because I'm being paid. And these young guys, they're feeling that pressure, right? And for fans, so-called fans, to like add on top of that, that's a crime, and that's just terrible.
I told you guys this a couple of weeks ago. The worst thing to happen to this K-State team was the Coleman Hawkins $2 million name, image, and likeness story. It was the worst thing to happen. Now, on the flip side, I gotta be fair here. And athletes, you guys cried for years about how you guys should be getting paid and how unfair it was that everybody was making all this money off of you. And a lot of people like me stood by and said, you're right. You should be getting a lot of this money. How can they make the college football video game and not give you any money? How can they sell your T-shirt and not give you any money? How can they stop you from having a podcast and being able to sell ads on your podcast? They were shutting down college players' YouTube channels before this. It was ridiculous. You can't have people like me, people like Rob. I imagine many of you, 913-586-7965. You cannot have us fight to help get you this money, and now the pressure of getting the money is too much. No, this is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. This is what you asked for. Some of you guys are getting rich doing this. We're way past you getting a little pizza money. We're way past you getting a little walking around money. Y'all see that chain Hunter Dickinson got? They're talking about he got a $50,000, $60,000 jewelry piece. We're talking about Coleman Hawkins got $2 million. He made more than some NBA players did this year. Certainly some of the rookies. Nah, man, I don't want to hear that, bro. I'm sorry. Coach, you figure this out. I don't want to hear this, oh, man, the pressure is getting to him. Then don't take the money then. Which one would you rather be? Because y'all was telling me how you needed money to buy a pizza and how you were starving, broke college students, and how you needed money. So we went from broke college students to now some of y'all are becoming millionaires from playing college basketball, and it's too much pressure. Well, then you're not going to the next level then. Because guess what? The money only gets bigger from here. $2 million is great. You want to know how much they're paying Rudy Gobert? Think if you can really, really make this basketball thing work. Think about if you really get good at this basketball thing, how much money you can make. You don't even got to be one of the superstars. Imagine if you could be like Aaron Gordon, who plays for the Nuggets. Aaron Gordon gonna make $200 million in his lifetime playing basketball. You talking to me about this little chump change? You live in Manhattan, Kansas. How much pressure can there be? I don't want to hear it, bro. I'm sorry. K-State, tighten up. That's what this segment should be called. Tighten up. Doug Gottlieb, tighten up. Your team's terrible. Travis Hunter, tighten up. Your girlfriend's out of control. Jerome Tang, tighten up. Your basketball team is embarrassing. And you guys look like, again, you're going to miss the NCAA tournament. And you were the one, Jerome Tang, that had the initiative. What was it? They needed 1,000 donors to give $1,000. He said, if you guys donate this money, we think we can win a national championship. That's what he said. And now I'm looking at you, and you're losing to a bunch of kids who were playing for Northwest Missouri State last year, handling you in your own backyard. Nah, bro, I don't want to hear this. This name, image, and likeness, this money is too much pressure. Nah, dog. Y'all got to tighten up. You got to be better. That's my message to all of you K-State fans. You guys want to be treated like the other schools. You want the same attention KU gets and Missouri gets. Well, this is part of it. Play better. Be better. Quit crying. Quit complaining. You guys said that this name, image, and likeness was going to level the playing field. It did level the playing field. You got beat by Drake yesterday at home in the Wildcat Invitational. Coming up on the other side, we'll be joined by Derek Young, who covers the Wildcats. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today?
Hey, it's Alex Gold from Max Motors in Belton, and before we know it, we're going to have inches and inches of snow on the ground. And I know none of us want it, but it's going to happen. We've all lived in Kansas City long enough to know the snowstorm will be here before we know it. And you want to make sure you have a reliable vehicle that can handle that kind of weather. That's why I was excited when I had a chance to go down to Max Motors and test drive the 2024 Jeep Compass 4x4. One of 25 in stock right now. A new 2024 Jeep Compass 4x4 starting at just $24,995. Stock number 90114. And maybe you got a bigger family. You got to take the kids to soccer practice. You just want to have a little bit more room. They also have new 2024 Chrysler Pacificas up to $11,000 off MSRP. Stock number S240345. And maybe it's time for you to trade in that vehicle. Max Motors has the best financing options available with the max trade-in values in the Midwest. See dealer for details. It's Max Motors, just a short drive to Belton. Max Motors, the easiest place to buy a car, maxmotors.com.
How do you spot the all-new Nissan Rogue Rock Creek? Here's a hint. It's got all-terrain tires, a tubular roof rack you can't miss, and it's tough inside and out with lava red detailing. You'll also find it in its natural habitat, climbing mountains, attacking rugged trails, and never backing down from any adventure. The first ever Nissan Rogue Rock Creek.
Intelligent all-wheel drive cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions. Always secure cargo. Heavy loading of the vehicle with cargo, especially on the roof, will affect the handling and stability of the vehicle.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Football season is in full swing, and you can take full advantage by winning some cash with Sleeper Picks. Sleeper Picks is a fantasy game, but you could win real money. Just pick more or less than at least 2 of your favorite player stats. If you're right, you could win. You can pick up to 8 players to win up to 100 times your money. For a limited time, Sleeper has a special offer. New users have to play $5, and they'll receive $55 in free bonus entries. That's right. If you deposit $25 and play $5, they'll give you 11 $5 bonus entries to start playing. So download the Sleeper app now and use promo code BLOCK and get in on this promo before time runs out. What are you waiting for? Download Sleeper today and unlock one of the fastest-growing fantasy sports apps in the world. Use code BLOCK to claim the play $5, get $55 bonus entry offer. That's code BLOCK. Must be at least 18 years old in most states and present in state where it is legal to wager. Promo code location, other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details at sleeper.com. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help. Sponsored by Sleeper. a Blitz product.
Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City, now open. Dine on mouth-watering appetizers, then feast on one of our 6 American Wagyu burgers, including the Bacon Jam Burger and Blazing Burger. Wash it down with your favorite ice-cold beverage, all while watching the game on one of our 45 TVs. Dine in or carry out. Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City always hits the spot. Brew Brothers and Brew Brothers Express are now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
This afternoon, expect mostly sunny conditions with a high of 41.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Welcome to your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
Let's go to the phone lines right now to be joined by Derek Young, who covers K-State for On3 Sports. Derek, happy to have you join us today.
Hey, happy to be on.
Absolutely. Let's start with this. What's gone wrong with this K-State season? They hit the transfer portal heavily this offseason, spent a lot of money, raised a lot of money. It doesn't seem like the K-State donors are getting their bang for their buck. What's gone wrong with the Wildcats this year?
Yeah, there's a multitude of problems that I would probably point to. One is you're seeing it, people like Evan Miyakawa in the college basketball space talk about it, the importance of roster continuity and how that correlates to success in college basketball. Well, Kansas State has next to none of that. So bringing in the bright, shiny toys sounds great until maybe you bring in too many, and now you're trying to get a lot of different newer pieces to integrate maybe a little bit faster than it is possible. I think one of the only teams to do that successfully thus far has been Kentucky. A lot of the other ones that have followed Kansas State's, footprint have struggled to do so as well. They have point guard problems as well because they're not getting what they need out of Doug McDaniel. And also, when you bring a lot of guys making a lot of money together, I think that's going to invite a different host of issues as well.
I feel like the Coleman Hawkins story is the worst thing to happen to this team. And I noticed this a couple of weeks ago that I just saw my own Twitter mentions. I saw what people were saying and just everything that he did. It was, man, we gave this guy $2 million. I feel like that tidbit of information was the worst thing to happen to this K-State team.
I don't disagree. The ironic part of that is of the 5 or 6 players that I believe are making a considerable chunk of change on the Kansas State roster, one of them's already gone, of course, in a chore. Coleman Hawkins was very much well publicized as being one of those guys, and he's actually playing pretty well if you look at the numbers. But with all of this public knowledge of how much guys might be making or being known as maybe the most expensive roster in college basketball, comes a lot of pressure and more of a microscope, and I think that they're wilting a bit under that and not able to handle it the way that a professional would. Like we know about the professional contracts, right? Well, those are a little bit more grown adults. Coleman Hawkins is 23. I actually think he's handling it better than most. Like I said, he's been pretty successful this year. His numbers are pretty good. I think it's other problems on the team that have led to some of the issues and lack of success. But yes, when all of that becomes well known, more pressure, more microscope, I think we're finding out that some college kids, some college teams aren't equipped to handle that.
Right now, we're talking to Derek Young, who covers the Kansas State Wildcats, talking about their loss last night against Drake. We'll get to the transfer portal here in a bit. Derek, if you asked 1,000 K-State fans if in hindsight, if they wish that Jerome Tang had taken the Arkansas job, what do you think the response would be? What percentage do you think of people now would want him to take the job versus staying and try to stick this thing out?
Yeah, hey, that's a fair question and a tough one, and I'll answer it. It's probably a lot more split now than it would have been, however many months ago that was, 5 or 6 months ago, because some are losing faith in the direction. Now, I would say maybe a little bit more patience should be exercised, but if the trajectory of this season continues in the way that we have seen it through, almost 2 months now, then yeah, I think that number is only going to get larger, and the groans are only going to become louder. With that being said, I think it is fair to point out that Drake's a pretty good basketball team, too. They're undefeated for a reason. I think they're, some of the metrics like KenPom and stuff like that, I think they're only going to improve even though they're not outstanding yet. They've beaten, I believe, 3 high major teams now, also FAU, who isn't bad. So I think that is a good team. And Kansas State did lose to a good team in St. John's. What I will say is Kansas State starts the Big 12 slate soon. I don't think they've beaten a team on their schedule yet that is as good as any team that they'll play in the Big 12. So this thing isn't going to get any easier for them.
Right now, we're talking to Derek Young for a couple more minutes. He covers K-State. All right, let's get to the transfer portal. There were some rumors that K-State was going to lose some of their top players. It sounds like they're going to keep them. It sounds like they're going to keep their quarterback, their star running back, and their star wide receiver. That's as good of a transfer portal, at least when it comes to keeping players, that you could expect.
Yeah, I think fans and even people like us sometimes forget that there's two sides of the transfer portal. It's nice to make big-time splashes, but sometimes keeping your own guys can be just as significant, just as big-time as well. We believe Jace Brown will be back, who was their leading wide receiver. Dylan Edwards will be back, obviously. Probably didn't have some of the production and numbers that he was expecting this season, but still a lot of potential, and you'd rather have him than not, especially with DJ Giddens declaring early for the NFL draft. Of course, Avery Johnson, he'll be back. I don't even think he thought twice about leaving. I don't think that one was under consideration at all. They have a really good group of young defensive ends, and I thought and they thought that it was going to be difficult to keep all of them, and I think they're going to keep all of them. That's Toby Osunsami, Chidi Obiais, or Ryan Davis, Jordan Allen. That's a very strong group. So with all these returners, I think they have a good core coming back into next year, and the difference being that a lot of the guys that they're going to count on next year have already played a lot of college football. Everyone groaned about this year probably falling short of expectations, and I think that it did for the most part. 8-4 is not what they wanted, but you have to remember a lot of the guys that counted on this year, it was their first full season in college football, or first full season of making a significant contribution in college football, or a first full season of starting an entire year start to finish. A lot of those guys are going to be back. So if you can complement them with really some significant pieces that you add from the transfer portal, I think you can return to hoping and at least dreaming of a potential Big 12 title again in 2025.
When you look at the portal in terms of a player acquisition process, what is K-State looking for? Who are they close to getting?
Offensive line is significant. They probably need an offensive tackle. They missed one yesterday. T. Anderson of Utah State. I think he picked NC State. They wanted that one, so they'll keep looking for an offensive tackle. I think they're doing well for an offensive guard, and Amos Talalele from USC. So I think that's big. They need a significant addition at linebacker. I think there could be inching closer on someone like Gabe Powers from Ohio State. I think that could be significant. A good wide receiver or two would be significant. One of the best receivers in the entire transfer portal is a redshirt freshman at Cal and Isaiah Hunter. He is down to K-State in Nebraska. He'll be at Kansas State this weekend as long as maybe he doesn't pop off to Nebraska before that. I think they're trending for a Purdue wideout as well in Jerron Tibbs. So those make a lot of sense. Of course, I think they need some defensive back help as well. They're looking at some safeties, looking at some corners. They've already added Jaden Rowe, an Oklahoma transfer at corner. A safety to keep in mind might be Gunnar Maldonado from Arizona. 2 years ago, he was one of the best defensive backs in the country.
And that is our guy, Derek Young, joining us on the show today. He does fantastic work with On3 Sports, updating you about K-State, their basketball team, and also the transfer portal. It looks like K-State is going to keep a lot of their key players and should once again be in contention to win the Big 12 next year, which puts you in line to make the college football playoff. Derek, great stuff, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Carrington.
Absolutely. That is Derek Young joining us on the show today. We're going to take a stop in Columbia coming up in about 30 minutes or so. Also going to go to Lawrence, Kansas, and update you guys on their basketball team, also the transfer portal. Let me play this for you guys very, very quickly. This is Stephen A. Smith. This is from earlier today. He was on First Take.
What we're asking ourselves is, what's the best decision for Andy Reid to make in order to ensure that this brother could possibly be healthy as the season progresses come to playoff time? And why is that important? This is Patrick Mahomes. Why are we acting like it's so urgent that they have home field advantage? This is the same Patrick Mahomes. This is a 3-time Super Bowl champion. It's a guy that's won 3 or 4 Super Bowls. It's a guy that's been to 6 straight AFC title games in all 6 years quarterbacking, who is universally recognized as arguably the greatest quarterback to have ever lived. Now here he is. He's hobbled. This is the same Patrick Mahomes that went into Buffalo last year and beat them in the playoffs. This is the same Patrick Mahomes that went into Baltimore the next week for the AFC Championship game and beat them. We act like this is something that we're not.
Stephen, I would normally be with you, but it's a lot of close wins this season.
I understand that, but here's the point. It's Patrick Mahomes.
That was Stephen A. Smith talking about Patrick Mahomes and the subject of Patrick Mahomes resting. I mean, that is the side that I am on when it comes to Patrick Mahomes. I just think at this point, that conversation is over. That was a conversation for you to have on Monday in relation to this topic. That is not a topic anymore about Patrick Mahomes. He is going to play on Saturday. He has been a full participant in practice the last 2 days. You do not go through all of that if you are in any way thinking about not playing Patrick Mahomes. To me, I don't even think we're at the barring a setback standpoint. This has been a normal week for Patrick Mahomes. He met with the media. He has practiced. He is doing his normal treatment that you were just going to have with typical bumps and bruises of an NFL player, an NFL quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is playing on Saturday. Coming up at the top of the hour, I have some stats I want to share with you guys. Xavier Worthy is really coming on and developing very well. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5. The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Men, it's the holidays, a time of love and joy. But if you suffer from erectile dysfunction, the season can be tough on you. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you and your partner are experiencing struggles because of ED, change it up this year. Give the best gift you can give to the one you love by treating your ED and restoring your relationship. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts at treating ED. And as a Promenic restorative health practice, we've literally seen countless thousands of relationships renewed across the nation. Plus, with treatments having success rates well over 90%, coupled with many treatment options, we can likely find the right one for you. You may even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us and give your partner the best gift you can give this season. A renewed, restored relationship. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in our office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Kansas City is Sean Barber. You know there's nothing easier than to enjoy watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at Buffalo Wild Wings off I-70 in Little Blue Parkway in Independence, Friday, December 20th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champs while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan's Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan silver dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Americans treasure owning silver bars and coins, putting them away for themselves and their loved ones. Call now to secure 1-ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. You'll be glad you did. Hurry, don't miss out on this special deal. Save $10 per silver bar. The more you buy, the more you save. Limit of 25 bars per customer. Call to learn more. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan silver dollar. That's a $59.95 value and free shipping. Call 1-800-222-3967 now to secure your 1-ounce Morgan silver dollar bars. That's 1-800-222-3967.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. For some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. We've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Pick up your phone and put in givemethevin.com. Highest money, quickest offer, $2,000 to $200,000. Top car buyer in the United States is givemethevin.com.
Sell us your car. Givemethevin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Chiefs coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by award-winning Johnny's Barbecue in Olathe.
Football and barbecue fans, score big with Johnny's Barbecue tailgate packages. Whether you're hosting a home gate or a tailgate, Johnny's Barbecue has you covered. Check out our tailgate packages at johnny'sbbqkc.com. Located in Olathe and serving all of KC. Johnny's Barbecue. Taste the smoke.
Listen to the Chiefs and Texans game on Saturday with pregame starting at 9. Kickoff at noon with Mitch, Danon, and Kling. Right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey Sports Station.
Welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. We haven't talked a lot about this these last couple of days, but I think it is important to know because we all spent a lot of time talking about this when Xavier Worthy was going through his struggles. It is only right now that it appears that he is turning the corner that we should also talk about it. In the middle part of the season, I think it was very clear that he was going through a rookie wall, so to speak. He did not have a good October. In fact, he was bad in the month of October. There was a game in which he accounted for negative yards in the month of October. It was not good. Since then, since the Broncos game, he has actually been really good. Rob, did you know in the last 5 games for the Kansas City Chiefs, Xavier Worthy has 24 catches for 248 yards and a touchdown? If you extrapolate this out for an entire season, Xavier Worthy would have 82 catches for 843 yards and 3 touchdowns. You can live with that. If you want to talk about an offensive player who is turning things around and improving in the second half of the season, there are 2 players at the top of that list. Number 1 is Xavier Worthy. Number 2 is Noah Gray. Those guys have been big boosts to this offense in the second half of the season. I just gave you the numbers for Xavier Worthy, and you guys already know that Noah Gray has been a touchdown machine for the Chiefs the last handful of weeks or so. So we all kind of criticized Xavier Worthy early on, and a lot of you were ready to throw out the B word for Xavier Worthy and how it was a wasted draft pick and all of those things. And I don't want to make it seem like that was everybody. There was a large group of people that kind of thought, hey, he can turn things around. He's not having a Rashee Rice second half of the season. I just don't think he's that kind of receiver. I also don't really know if their offense is really conducive to him just having a big number. This team is just not good at deep passes. They are one of the worst deep ball passing teams in the National Football League, and that's what you assume his strength to be. But again, we spent a lot of time being critical of Xavier Worthy when things were going poorly in the middle of the season. I think you have to do the exact same here. 24 catches, 248 yards, and 1 touchdown the last 5 weeks. That is the Xavier Worthy that you can live with. On Sunday's game against Cleveland, he had 46 yards receiving. He also had 30 yards rushing, which was kind of a pass play, but they counted as a run play. So however you want to do it, he had 76 yards from scrimmage. That is the Xavier Worthy that you can live with. If this offense rounds into form the way that we think it can, that's an offensive firepower that you can live with. You got Isaiah Pacheco, you got Kareem Hunt, you got Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, you're getting Hollywood Brown back, you've got DeAndre Hopkins, you got Xavier Worthy. You have 5 to 7 dynamic weapons in the pass game and in the run game that can really help you and get this offense back on track if you can shore up some of the offensive line issues.
They have absolutely found the role for Kadarius Toney, and I will credit them for that because I would tell you, I think up until recently, they were using him like the deep ball guy that he just, I don't know if it's not him or Patrick Mahomes this year or the play calling, the protection. we don't have to go through all the reasons they are just not a deep ball team in 2024. The idea of hey, we're going to huck it deep with the strong arm Mahomes is not a thing in 2024. Credit to Andy Reid, credit to Matt Nagy, credit to Patrick Mahomes, whoever, because they have found a role for Xavier Worthy where he is effective. I've seen that little play action, tossed in the ball in the flat, he gains 9 free yards play about 4 or 5 times this year, and it is, in fact, 9 free yards, and if he can get going north and south with his straight line speed, he could be scoring touchdowns on those plays. They are making the most out of Xavier Worthy. I think it's fair to be critical of this team not being a deep ball team and the fact they have turned Xavier Worthy into a little bit of jet sweep, quick out, make a play guy. That's a fair complaint, but I think they have taken chicken you-know-what and turned it into chicken salad with Xavier Worthy because in August the plan was this guy's taking the top off the defense, and whether it be he, Mahomes, whoever, that has not transpired.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do think that they've just used him in some different ways. Like, he had 3 rush attempts. I mean, that's the most rush attempts he's had since the 3rd week of the season. Like, they've really done a good job in being a little bit more creative in how they used him. And they still haven't figured out the deep ball with him because that was a big thing people were saying. Well, if they could just connect on a couple of those deep passes, he doesn't have a deep pass. When's that last long down the field game-changing play for Xavier Worthy down the field? I know he had the big play in the run game just a couple of weeks or days ago. He scored the touchdown, but they haven't figured out the home run ball. They've just been a lot more strategic in how they get him, and they're doing a better job of trying to get him the ball underneath. I don't think he has been perfect by any means, but this is a better version of Xavier Worthy than you had in the middle part of the season. I think he's played really, really well these last couple of weeks. Let's also talk about Hollywood Brown. I feel like you have some apprehension about Hollywood Brown coming back. I was going back and forth with someone on Twitter, or not Twitter, on the text line. Going back and forth makes it sound contentious, and it was not contentious really in any way. This is what he said. He said, DJ Humphries has a hamstring injury. They need him healthy. He won't play against the Texans and the Steelers. That will give him a game and a bye week to get ready for the playoffs. That should be plenty of time for a veteran left tackle. Plus, the Chiefs should be blamed for his injury. They rushed him back way too soon. This is where I think we are being a little bit unrealistic about this thing. We all know how hard it is to play football. It's hard to play football when you've been there every day. I don't care how much of a veteran you are at something. If you don't do it for a long period of time and then they throw you back into a high stressful situation, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Rob, think about the complaints that we have about early NFL action because teams don't do the preseason. How many times have we had that conversation as NFL fans? Well, this team didn't take the preseason right. Therefore, this team, they got off to a little bit of a slow start. Imagine if you didn't have any of the other things that come with the preseason, not just playing in the games. So we're talking about DJ Humphries. You weren't there for any of that, and currently you're not even practicing with the team. And now we're just going to dump you in the middle of the second round of the postseason and expect you to be sharp. I just think that's a really difficult thing. So that's why I think with Hollywood Brown, I think he's at an advantage here. He's been practicing with these teams these last couple of days. You expect him to play possibly for a handful of games down the stretch. And I think you're going to allow him to have that ramp up period. And this is now Hollywood Brown's preseason. We think you're going to play in 3 games like the preseason. You're going to have practice. You're going to get ready. You're going to have film. You're going to go through those things. I think it is a really big plus for this team that they're getting Hollywood Brown back with so much time left in the regular season and having the opportunity to ramp him up to get ready for the postseason.
I'm excited about the notion of him coming back, but I'm going to have more tempered expectations than you and definitely fans because Hollywood Brown was billed a lot like Xavier Worthy, another guy who's great down the field, deep ball guy. That is what we were told about Xavier Worthy and what we got told about Hollywood Brown. Remember in August, we were giddy. They got 2 of these guys. They got the Legion of Zoom could be back. Now, injury and what have you has changed that. But I've seen Mahomes now for 15, 14 games struggle to complete that deep pass. Again, where that's his reads, the offensive line, I don't know. But I haven't seen the deep ball, and I don't know that Hollywood Brown arriving is some magic cure-all, and the thing that he is billed to be is deep ball guy, and I don't know the Chiefs have that in their bag of tricks in 2024. So I think he is a boost. He's an addition. Maybe instead of Justin Watson running that route on Sunday, you have Hollywood Brown, and that's an improvement.
A noticeable improvement.
One.
Yeah, a noticeable improvement.
But it's not like Mahomes was hitting on. I mean, I've seen Mahomes hit deep balls, Justin Watson, in his career. He's not hitting on that ball with anyone this year. Kelce, Hopkins, Worthy. That play just doesn't exist in the playbook. So I'm apprehensive about the idea that Hollywood walks on the field after missing 15 games and has poor timing potentially with Mahomes, and suddenly it's boom, the top's coming off the defense.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily as worried about the top coming off of the defense. I don't think the Chiefs right now have a lot of players that can create separation. And I'm not here to defend some of the accuracy issues of Patrick Mahomes. I'm not here to tell you that they've been good. The numbers would suggest that they are bad at it. But I think the question is, why do you think they're bad at it? Do you think it's solely on Mahomes and his accuracy issue, or do you think it's other things? It is not a surprise that his accuracy has become a problem also as their offensive line has gotten worse. He has also gotten hit more than any other season in his career. I mean, he is trending. He already has been hit more times so far through their first 14 games than all of last season. So he is taking more pressure than he ever has before. And I just don't think they have a lot of guys that create separation. Rob, who's the guy on this team right now that you think can get open? Now, I think that Xavier Worthy has been open and had some chances down the field, and Mahomes has just missed them. But I think some of these things are, there's just not a lot of great windows for you to throw these balls into, and I think that is contributing to some of the issues. So I'm not coming into this, at least I'm not, I can't speak for anybody else, I'm not coming into this with an expectation that Hollywood is back, so it's going to be the 2019-2020 Kansas City Chiefs. They need more guys that can create separation and get open. And it's not to me about taking the top off the defense. Can you get open in the red zone? And they don't have a lot of guys who can get open in the red zone and give you a good, solid window for Mahomes to make a good throw. That's where I think he's going to be really, really needed once they get inside the 20. Coming up on the other side, we'll get back to college football. We're going to be joined by Gabe DeArmond of PowerMizzou.com. Let's take a look at Missouri and their transfer portal, also the basketball team that won last night against Jacksonville State. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold, and for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
This Friday only in Old Navy stores. Long sleeve tees are just $5 for adults and $4 for kids. Yep, long sleeve tees are $5 for adults, $4 for kids. But hurry, this deal is one day only this Friday at Old Navy stores. Valid 12/20 in stores and select styles only.
Hey, let me tell you guys about my friends over at Gates Barbecue with 5 locations around town. You are never too far away from that classic Gates Barbecue taste. And the menu is changing a little bit. They got the new Burnt E Mac. They're great mac and cheese topped with some Gates burnt ends. You can also order the Splits Gates fries. So you can get some fries, also some onion rings, and go ahead and get that with a slab of ribs. Delicious. This is a great football weekend. Whether it's college with the playoffs, whether it's pro football, we got some basketball, we got a championship boxing this weekend. This is one of the great sports weekends, so you want to make sure that you have a great meal to go alongside it. So stop by any of these area Gates locations and also get ready for your company party. Make sure you pick up a party tray. Maybe you're having a holiday gathering with friends. You can also do that as well. Whatever your food needs are, whatever your holiday food needs are, make sure that they include Gates Barbecue.
It's winter clearance time at Volkswagen Lee Summit. Get up to $5,000 off the 24 Jetta, 24 Taos, and 24 Tiguan, and up to $8,000 off the 24 Atlas and Atlas Crossport. Hurry in before we sell out of 24s. Visit VWLeeSummit.com.
Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Thanks, Bob. We're here with Doug the Elf, asking about the hottest holiday gifts of the year. Doug, what's on your list?
Yeah, we're getting Missouri lottery scratchers and draw games. We came all the way from the North Pole.
They don't have lottery tickets there?
Now Missouri lottery tickets. They created a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year. Woohoo! I just won!
But I thought that was a gift.
Well, yeah, for me.
You heard it here first. Scratchers and draw games from the Missouri Lottery make great gifts for the holidays. Play it forward and play responsibly. Back to you in the studio.
The election is finally over. Now you can get the cash you need. Imagine what you could do with $50,000. Pay off credit cards, do home improvements, or even pay off auto loans. Golden Oak's mortgage rate is 5.25%. There's no out-of-pocket costs, so call today and make no payments until next year. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
6.19 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Who is the area's only dealer for Fronius professional welding equipment? Metal by the Foot, located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. When sending a package, why venture outside? Ship with USPS for a true holiday ride. Want to stay cozy and warm? There's no need to roam. With free package pickup and labels printed from home. We have over 600,000 employees always in motion. And before you know it, your gift has delivered emotion. Spread the holiday joy this season with USPS's enhanced network. Learn more at USPS.com/holidayride.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
Pizza just goes better with Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Pizza. Thank you.
But don't take our word for it. In fact, don't take any words for it. Crispy and cheesy, paired with delicious and refreshing. My mouth is watering already. Ooh, too high. Yeah, we've all been there. Every bite is better with Pepsi.
Hey guys, it's Jim Costa from Cash the Ticket. If you're planning on betting college football bowl games, good luck. No, seriously, it's never been harder. And you don't want to be hurting your bankroll. You want to make sure you're doing your homework. Listen to Cash the Ticket. Mike Valeni and I will be breaking down every single bowl game, dropping new episodes nearly every day throughout college football's postseason. Spicing things up with a 12-team playoff. Can't wait to see some of those teams from the South come up north for the snow. Be sure to subscribe to Cash the Ticket on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
At Metro Ford, family owned and operated means the same trusted faces every visit. Just 10 minutes from downtown. Plus, get peace of mind with our 5-year, 200,000-mile pre-owned warranty, including roadside assistance and emergency trip interruption. Only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Westbound 70 looking good, 7 minutes from 65th to K7. Northbound 635 is an 11-minute drive from Georgia Avenue to KCI. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Patrick Mahomes joins CDOT every week during the season, right here on 96.5 The Fan.
Let's go to the phone lines right now and be joined by Gabe DeArmond of PowerMizzou.com. Gabe, how you doing, my man?
Not bad. What's going on?
Gabe, the last time you were on here, you said that MUKU wasn't the same, and you know what? I was there. It felt the same.
Yeah, it briefly was. It's like large scale. It's not the same, but for 2 hours there, it was kind of the same.
All right, so let's get to the transfer portal before we get to the basketball side of things with Missouri. We're joined by Gabe DeArmond of PowerMizzou.com. Missouri is in pursuit of a quarterback. They missed out on Miller Moss. Let's go to what else is on their list at quarterback.
Yeah, there's a kid in town yesterday and today. His name is Bo Pribula. I think that's how you pronounce it. He has been Penn State's backup behind Drew Aller the last 2 years. Has played some. He's a very good runner, a passer that nobody really knows because he just hasn't had to do it a lot. I think he's got about 500 yards passing, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception in his career. I think they're certainly working on other possibilities. I maintain that they are attempting to get something set up with Cal transfer Fernando Mendoza. That has not happened yet. Mendoza took a visit to Indiana last week, but that's really all anybody's heard about him at this point.
It's funny because on one side, I would say that Eli Drinkwitz has proven to be a great recruiter, and he has dominated the transfer portal. But it is also pretty clear that he has missed when it comes to this. I don't think that there has been a season yet with him as the head coach that they have gone into it with the quarterback that he would have wanted. Like if you could inject him with truth serum at the end of every season and say, hey, give me your ideal scenario. Who's your starting quarterback? I'm not sure if that guy has ever actually started at Missouri.
Well, I think that guy started at Missouri this season because coming off last year, look, Brady Cook was the guy, and that was pretty obvious to everybody. But before this season, I agree. I mean, it is the one kind of odd thing about Drinkwitz's career. He's done a lot of things really well, and he has done a fantastic job here. Nobody with any sanity is questioning his job security, anything like that. But the one thing that he has kind of struggled at is the most important thing, right? Which is who's your quarterback. And, Brady Cook was look, there are better quarterbacks out there. I don't think anybody would argue, but he did a nice job here, overachieved, had a better career than probably anybody thought. But again, Brady Cook committed to Mariota. Now, I think it's unfair to not call him Drinkwitz's guy. I mean, every game of his career was under Eli Drinkwitz. I think anybody that says, well, he can't develop a quarterback, well, I mean, literally, he developed Brady Cook. He's the guy that's responsible for that. But, yeah, it is fair to have questions going forward like, all right, now get your own guy in here and have him pan out because Sam Horn has not to this point. He's had a few guys transfer out. He's kind of struck out so far in the transfer portal. I think they'll get somebody. It'll be interesting to see where it goes, but I think in a perfect world, we have an answer by the end of this weekend.
If you had to just take a guess, and I know that you do the crystal ball, who do you think Missouri's week 1 starter is going to be?
I mean, the only thing I would say is somebody that's not currently on the roster. I would never predict that Fernando Mendoza is that guy because, he hadn't even visited yet, and I'm not positive he will. I think in a perfect world, that's who they'd like it to be, but I can't say he's going to be. Could be Bo Pribula, could be it could be any number of people. I don't think it's going to be Sam Horn. I'm very confident it won't be Drew Pine, and I hate to break hearts out there. I can't imagine a world in which it's Matt Zollers.
Right now, we're talking to Gabe DeArmond of PowerMizzou.com. Gabe, I know that Missouri fans have been holding on to that Sam Horn optimism for so long. It just doesn't feel like it's ever going to happen for him. We are now entering his 4th year at Missouri, and he's thrown 8 passes. I know that he came in with the Stars, and he was their highest quarterback recruit that they've had since Blaine Gabbert. I just don't see a scenario in which he starts. I actually think it's more likely that he transfers out once we get to the spring portal.
Yeah, I mean, like I said the other day on our site, the only people that still think Sam Horn is what they thought he was 3.5 years ago are Missouri fans online. I mean, there are people on my message board. Well, do you think part of the reason we're having a hard time getting a transfer in is because of Sam Horn? Nobody's scared of Sam Horn. Like, look, if he goes and wins the job and turns into this, that's fantastic. Like, it would be a great story. Would love to see it. He has thrown 8 passes. He hasn't played a meaningful down in 3 years, and he's coming off Tommy John surgery. I mean, if that kid was at any other school, you wouldn't even know who he was, right? So I agree with you. The likelihood that he ever starts a game here is incredibly low.
I'm looking at Missouri's basketball schedule right now. They're 10-1. It kind of seems like to me now, because they beat Kansas, I don't think they have to beat Illinois. Like, you already have your good one non-con win that's there. Given how difficult the SEC is going to be with a non-con win against Kansas, and if you can hover around 500 in the SEC, that should be enough to get Missouri into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, win or lose against Illinois, if you go 8-10 in the SEC, you're going to get in the tournament. I added it up last night. The SEC is 152-20. There are legitimately people discussing, is this the best conference, not just in the country, it's clearly the best conference in the country. Is this the best conference we've ever seen? Now, I think we have to understand, I mean, there's 107 teams in it, so, that helps a little bit. But, I mean, the worst team in this league is South Carolina, which is 8-3 and just beat Clemson last night. And I think Clemson was ranked on the edge of the top 25 coming into that game. The South Carolina is ranked 66th at KenPom. That's it. That's the lowest team in the league. Like, the 16 teams are all in the top 66. They're all in the top 100 of the net ranking. Like, it is going – I mean, had I told you, 6 months ago, hey, the SEC is actually going to be a better basketball league than it is a football league, I mean, first of all, some people might have been very offended by that, but nobody would have believed.
Right now, we're talking to Gabe DeArmond for a couple more minutes here. Gabe, I have 2 more questions. Both, I guess, are football questions. The first question is, now looking at Missouri as a program, what they are expected to do in the transfer portal and with the stability that they have with Eli Drinkwitz, is it now sort of an expectation that Missouri can win 8 or 9 games? I mean, their schedule is going to be the exact same as it was last year. You're just flipping the home games and the road games. They did not have an incredibly difficult schedule last year. It might be a little bit difficult. Oklahoma might be a little bit better. Auburn might be a little bit better, but it's going to be a similar schedule. It feels like, I don't think it's going to have the same high-level expectations as last year, but whatever the floor that you had for Missouri was heading into this season, it feels like you're going to be able to do the exact same thing next year.
Yeah, and I think the expectation largely depends on the quarterback stuff we're talking about, right? Like, who do they get, and what does that mean for next year? But yeah, I think you should absolutely expect, minimum 8 games, but with the transient nature of the sport and the portal and everything right now, like, I don't think any Missouri fan should not go into next year thinking, let's compete for the college football playoff. Like, if you're in the SEC, that should be your goal. I mean, really, if you're in power conference football, that should be your goal. Indiana is playing a college football playoff game the day after tomorrow. That tells you all you need to know. There's no such thing anymore as building and getting there slowly. Like, you have a chance to do it every single year, no matter what last year was.
Last thing here, and it's a basketball question. I guess it's more of an observation more so than a question. I have seen enough Missouri basketball this year to give them this message. They should take less threes and more shots at the rim. When they did that against Kansas and they drove to the basket with Aiden Shaw, and they did that with Mark Mitchell and some of the other pieces, they were really good, and they can compete with just about anybody in the country. When they try to take jump shots, they have not been able to shoot since the first year of Dennis Gates. If they continue to keep that mindset, they got a shot of actually doing something this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. Trent Pierce and Jacob Cruz won them a game from the three-point line last night, right? I mean, overall, I get it. I think this team's biggest strength right now is, and I don't know still if they're number one, but I think a couple days ago they were going to the free throw line more often than anyone in the country. right? And that probably is a result of what you're talking about, like not standing around the 3-point line. So I don't know if that keeps up going into SEC play or not, but I never thought I'd see a Missouri-Kansas game where Missouri shot 31 free throws either, and that happened. So anything can happen, I guess, the next few months.
That is Gabe DeArmond of PowerMizzou.com joining us on the show today. We're taking a closer look at the 3 local schools as we're in the middle of the transfer portal and also about to wrap up non-con on the hardwood. Gabe, great stuff, man. Happy holidays.
All right, same to you, Carrington. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. That is Gabe DeArmond of PowerMizzou.com joining us on the show today. We will go to Lawrence, Kansas coming up in just a little bit. Want to learn a little bit more about Kansas as they hit the transfer portal as well, and they are wrapping up non-con basketball and looking to try to get back on top of the Big 12. Let me play for you guys what Christopher Mad Dog Russo had to say. You guys will find this very, very hard to believe. He was mad about something earlier today on First Take.
NFL eventually going to stop with this never-ending quest to make as much money as possible. They have ruined my Christmas.
Oh, Lord.
They ruined it.
I thought
they put the games on
Christmas.
Netflix, okay? They got the 2 games on Netflix with the Baltimore-Houston game preceded by the Chiefs in Pittsburgh. The game started at 1 o'clock. Now, I am Scrooge. I'm the Grinch. I get it. But even I got to open up a gift at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I can't watch the football games because you need a night game. And you got the 2-day games. And you know why they did this? Because it's Netflix. It's a global network. So they want to make sure somebody in Rome can see the Pittsburgh, Kansas City game in prime time. So they care more about the fans in Rome than they do in, obviously, Kansas City. That's a noontime kickoff on Christmas Day. Clark Hunt can't get to the game. Gotta go to church. I mean, how in the world do you do this? You put 2 games on Netflix, the NFL. You put them at 1 and 4:30 in the afternoon, right in the middle of the day of Christmas. Yes. There is no game at night. I cannot kick back. I cannot take my gummy. I cannot have my chocolate milk. And I can't bet on some Wednesday night because you put the games on in the afternoon, which means I'm not going to eat dinner. I'm not going to open up a gift, and I'm going to sit in front of a TV set with an eggnog at 1:20, which is inconvenience to me because you're taking care of somebody in Rome or Paris or Pakistan. Nobody cares.
That's Christopher Mad Dog Russo. You know what? I don't have any problem with what time the Christmas Day games are. The first game, Rob, starts at noon? You've done the big Christmas thing in most of our families by noon. The little ones are not letting you open gifts at 1 o'clock. That is not how Christmas works. Kids open gifts, I would say anywhere between 7 and 10 o'clock in the morning. Little Timmy wakes up. He's all excited. He wants to go downstairs and open up his Nintendo 64 and wants to open up the action figures and the video game. He's doing that early in the morning. You maybe have you a little early morning breakfast, maybe you got him a bike, so you go outside with Junior and you let him ride his bike. And around noon, hey, we're going back inside. We're watching the game together. I don't have an issue with what time the games are. I just wanted to hear Christopher Mad Dog Russo get mad. I actually think that's a really good time of doing it. Right during your meal, you're looking for an activity. When you get done with your meal, you can then lock in and watch the game. I actually don't want a game on Christmas night. I don't want one.
Okay, so me and you couldn't see this more opposite.
I like the
First
times.
off, who has finished their meal by noon Central Time? You're telling me you've gotten the family over and you've had, eaten, and finished Christmas dinner by noon?
No, I'm saying but Christmas is not about the dinner. Thanksgiving is about the dinner.
It's both.
No, Christmas is about opening gifts for the
boxes.
kids. We eat. What are we talking about? We just had a day in which we had dinner. No one complains about what time the Thanksgiving games are. You know what time they are. They've been the same time for 150
That's not
years.
true at all. We complained ad nauseum about the games. We're going to watch the Lions and eat through the Cowboys because the Cowboys game stinks.
I didn't complain about what time the Cowboys game was on. I complained that the Cowboys game was on. I was not complaining about what time the game started.
I'll also say Russo's right. Why is there no night game? None. We disagree on noon. Fine. Different minds can, whatever. But why is there no night game? Because there is nothing that transpires on Christmas night. Maybe you and I are different. Hey, Christmas dinner is a big thing in my house. Maybe it's not in yours. Whatever. But at 6:30 on Christmas night, what are you doing? What are the kids doing? What are the families doing? They're usually just watching TV. And that's not when you have a game on? Last year, I don't have the ratings in front of me. I'm sure if you pull it, that Niners-Ravens game that was on Christmas night.
It's also a good game.
Probably did gangbusters. But you're going to put this one at noon. I would have had a 325, 625 window. Bing, bang, boom. Christmas night, dominated.
Just watch basketball. I know I'm crazy. I know. I mean, they got the Denver Nuggets play at night. How dare you just watch Nikola Jokic play basketball? I mean, the
NBA doesn't even put their best game at night. The NBA's best game is usually the Lakers in the afternoon.
Yeah, we get to watch LeBron. We get to watch LeBron, and then we get to watch Nikola Jokic right after him. You can watch both. Flip back and forth. No, I'm not complaining about what time the games are. In fact, the games shouldn't even be coming on. Why are they putting NFL games on a Wednesday? Now we're complaining about what time that it is. This is the definition of a first world problem. That's what this is. That's what it is. No, I'm not endorsing this. I'm not joining in on this. They're fine. I don't even care. When did we go from wondering on whether or not the stream was going to work? Now we're mad about bro, is it going to work? The last time you and I watched something on Netflix, it didn't work. They got Mariah Carey and Beyonce, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Is the stream going to work? That's all I care about. When I hear that, dun-dun, I just want to make sure that it works. Because last time that didn't happen. So figure that part out. That's it. That's all I need you to do. I need you to figure that out. Coming up in a little bit, we will end our college basketball/football whip around. We're going to go to Lawrence, Kansas, and be joined by Michael Swain. I do want to ask this question to you, my fine friends. Did you guys see Drake yesterday? Drake came to Kansas City with a bunch of Kansas City kids and beat K-State at a true neutral site. Now, I'm not saying this is a knock towards UMKC and what they accomplished yesterday, because maybe you didn't know this. UMKC beat Wichita State in basketball yesterday. They beat them in basketball yesterday. Hey, congratulations, UMKC. That's one of the biggest wins in program history. They went on the road as a 14-point dog and won outright yesterday against Wichita State. Salute. UMKC, they got a shot of doing something they've never done before, which is make the NCAA tournament. But you know I got to complain just a little bit. There are 6 kids on Drake that graduated from a Kansas City high school. How are there none currently on UMKC? Does that make any sense to you guys? Because that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And Drake's best player, their best player, was not offered by UMKC. How? Rob, did you know that his basketball coach, he tweeted me, listen to this. We called over 100 D1s for Bennett Sturts, went to Liberty. Some of them even said no thank you to him being a walk-on. But Ben McCollum, the head coach of Drake, he was at Northwest Missouri. Coach knew what he was getting all along, and now everyone else is playing catch-up. They also have another kid from Kansas City. They're a big guy. He went to Staley. How is Northwest better at recruiting Kansas City kids than UMKC? Like, am I missing something here? UMKC was never going to get Ochai Agbaji, right? Nobody is saying that UMKC should get Christian Brown. No, they were never going to UMKC. They could have got Bennett Sturts. They didn't offer him a scholarship. How? It's not like he was some unknown player. If you know anything about high school basketball or keep up with it the last couple years, he's been one of the best players in the city when he was here. His senior year, he was the 3rd best player in the city behind Aiden Shaw, who went to Missouri, and Kyan Evans. He was one of the best players in the city. You don't offer him? Rob, you went to a major Kansas City high school. You graduated from Blue Valley Northwest. How many times has the head coach of UMKC come to your school to watch a basketball game?
Very few.
That's unacceptable. How? Blue Valley Northwest is one of the best teams in the state of Kansas. You can't think of a time that the head coach of UMKC came to one of your high school basketball games, or one of their top assistants came to a basketball game. That does not make sense to me. How are there more kids at Drake and at Northwest Missouri State than UMKC? And if you want to explain how UMKC has struggled to gain traction and how they haven't made the NCAA tournament, it's because you're letting high-quality Division I talented basketball players go somewhere else. It does not make any sense to me. It is unacceptable that this is the case.
I'm not trying to defend UMKC because we largely agree. I think the current coach is a little bit of an outlier because he's actually winning at UMKC, but historically, they don't add KC kids. But are we sure a KC kid wants to go to a place where he's going to play high-level collegiate basketball and behind a tarp because it's in the same gym as the Rec? Are we sure he wants to go to a school that doesn't spend any money on their athletic program? Who do you think spends more money on their athletic program, Northwest Missouri State or UMKC? I'm betting pretty good money Northwest Missouri State has the infrastructure and the money and the actual buy-in from the school that UMKC doesn't. They don't have their own gym. Go watch Wagner or Northeastern or one of those, bracket buster weeks in college basketball on ESPN where it's like, oh, the automatic bid goes to Vermont. You know what they all have? A specific basketball gym. You know what UMKC does not have? That. There's a track that goes around the top of where their gym is because it's in the rec center. I think it is harder to get kids to go to a place that is not committed to basketball than you're selling.
Rob, they don't have one. How many Blue Valley schools are there?
5 now?
They don't have one kid from the Blue Valley School District on their team? How many Lee Summit High schools are there? 5? 4?
4 or 5, yeah.
They don't have one? I'm not saying that Ochai Abaje from Oak Park was supposed to be there. Explain to me how UMKC does not have a single high school basketball player that graduated from a local Kansas City high school currently on their roster. Explain that to me. That is not they play. No, you ain't trying hard enough. You guys have high school kids. When was the last time that UMKC's basketball coach came to watch your high school kid play basketball? They should be a presence. Rob, I just went to Oak Park, Shawnee Mission, the Northwest 2 weeks ago. I sat with the mayor and watched it. I saw Hutchinson there. I saw Northwest Missouri State there. I didn't see a UMKC representative there. No, this is beyond that. This is not they don't have a gym. This is you don't prioritize it. And there have been more than enough kids that have come through. Clayton Custer, who went to your school, Blue Valley Northwest, he went to Loyola Chicago. You couldn't have convinced that kid to come to UMKC. You didn't try hard enough to go get him. You didn't try hard to get Ben Richardson to go to your school. And that's why you haven't made the tournament one single time that you've been there when the talent, you don't have to this is not football. You don't need 53 kids. You need 5. You could find 5 high school basketball players with all the high school talent in the city for you to field a really competitive team that people care about and want to go see. Coming up on the other side, a school that does recruit local kids, Kansas. They're coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, let me tell you guys about my friends over at Gates Barbecue. With 5 locations around town, you are never too far away from that classic Gates Barbecue taste. And the menu is changing a little bit. They got the new Burnt E Mac. They're great mac and cheese topped with some Gates burnt ends. You can also order the Splits Gates fries. So you can get some fries, also some onion rings, and go ahead and get that with a slab of ribs. Delicious. This is a great football weekend. Whether it's college with the playoffs, whether it's pro football, we got some basketball, we got a championship boxing this weekend. This is one of the great sports weekends, so you want to make sure that you have a great meal to go alongside it. So stop by any of these area Gates locations and also get ready for your company party. Make sure you pick up a party tray. Maybe you're having a holiday gathering with friends. You can also do that as well. Whatever your food needs are, whatever your holiday food needs are, make sure that they include Gates Barbecue.
There are 2 kinds of guys out there, the hard-working, earn-the-victory guys and the fake-it-till-you-make-it guys. You know, the ones who build display cases for their participation trophies. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, and when those pretenders are out shopping for jewelry, they're probably shopping for lab diamonds, and that's sad because they've been sold a bill of goods, and no matter what anyone says, just like any pretender, you really can tell the difference between a lab diamond and a real natural diamond. So when she takes that lab diamond in for an appraisal and learns that you just gave her a participation trophy, well, that just might be the end of her participation. Seriously, We appraise jewelry from other stores all the time, and I've seen a lot of anger and a lot of tears. Guys, this Christmas season, I'm here for you. Earn the victory. If the love is real, she deserves a diamond that's real from a guy that's real. Come see me at House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly.
Coming up, Week 16 Pro Football Sunday, Atlanta with its new starting quarterback, an 8.5-point home favorite against the New York team in blue. Total in the game is 41.5. And Atlanta benched its veteran starting quarterback and will turn to its rookie first-rounder. And New York got bet as a result. Atlanta was going to be a 10-point home favorite. Now Atlanta, just an 8.5-point home favorite. Here's my question. Has anyone watched the New York team in blue play football? They're atrocious. I don't care who the quarterback is for Atlanta. I like Atlanta laying the points coming up on Sunday at home.
That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This holiday season, Straight Talk Wireless is letting you say yes a lot more with real unlimited data. Yes to sharing pics of the ugliest holiday sweaters. Yes to checking weather on the go for surprise sledding trips. And with a free phone at sign up, let the yes-tivities begin.
No way!
Yes way. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 1/5/25 while supplies last at participating stores. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation on select single-line plans. Limit of 2 phones per customer. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Chiefs coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by award-winning Johnny's Barbecue in Olathe.
Football and barbecue fans, score big with Johnny's Barbecue tailgate packages. Whether you're hosting a home gate or a tailgate, Johnny's Barbecue has you covered. Check out our tailgate packages at johnny'sbbqkc.com. Located in Olathe and serving all of KC. Johnny's Barbecue. Taste the smoke.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This traffic is brought to you by Park & Go, your holiday travel made easy with all covered airport parking. Northbound 435, looking at about 7-minute drive from Metropolitan to K5. Northbound 635, 11 minutes from Georgia Avenue if you're headed to KCI. Heading out of town this holiday season, let Park & Go take the stress out of holiday travel with easy online reservations, free shuttles, luggage assistance, and all covered parking. You'll be Jingle Bell ready. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Happiest of holidays from Park & Go. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 96.5 The Fan.
Let's go to the phone lines right now and wrap up our college whip around. Let's go to Michael Swain, who covers the Jayhawks for 24/7 Sports. Michael, man, happy to have you join us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely. Let's just start with this. Kind of give us an overview of how KU is doing in the transfer portal. We'll get to the quarterback coming up in a bit on what his decision is going to be. It sounds like he's going to come back, but I'm sure there's other work to be done for KU in the portal.
Yeah, it's been busy. It's been busy, as of right now. KU's got 12 commits in the portal, and it's been, KU really had to hit the ground running because big picture, you look at it, KU lost like 30 scholarship seniors and basically 80% of their snaps at most of the positions. So there's a lot of work that had to be done in the offseason, and KU's done a really good job of getting the guys that they've had on campus to visit, and that's a really huge part of portal recruiting, right? You can get the guys to campus, but a lot of times these days, right, they've got multiple visits. They've got agents working on other things. Can you get those guys signed and committed? And KU's done a really good job of that. I look at defensively, right, KU really needs to kind of get some help at linebacker and in the defensive backfield. Well, at linebacker, you look at it, they got Bengali Kamara during the season, and then they get someone like Joseph Sipp Jr., a guy who was a first-team all-MAC selection at linebacker from Bowling Green this week. You look at cornerback, you get someone like Jaleel Hurley from Alabama, where, former top 100 kid, really talented player, didn't have the chance to maybe play a bunch at Alabama. He's got 3 years left. He's going to have the chance to get to KU, develop it, and play. And then yesterday they get DJ Graham, a former Oklahoma Sooner who then went to Utah State and now is going to finish his career at KU. He's an experienced player as well. So for KU, really, there's going to be a lot of new faces next year, and a lot of those guys are coming from the portal. And you can still look ahead, though, and I've got our scholarship chart, and I'm always checking in on. KU's still got about 10 spots left. So you're looking at a 20-plus person transfer portal class. So even with them being at 12 right now, you're looking at this and saying, man, they need a couple wide receivers. They need some defensive ends. They maybe need another defensive back. Like, there's still work to be done for KU. So even though it's been a great start, there's still a ways to go.
Right now, we're talking to Michael Swain, who covers the Jayhawks. We're going through the transfer portal. We'll also talk a little bit of basketball here. All right, let's get to the quarterback. It sounds to me like Jalen Daniels is coming back. I feel like if he was going to transfer, you would have already made that decision. I mean, there's teams right now that are nabbing up quarterbacks. So if there was a school that you potentially wanted to go to, you should have made that decision earlier. I'm anticipating that he's coming back.
Yeah, no, he is 100% coming back. He's already signed a what do they call it these days, right? An agreement, new revenue share, like whatever you want to call it. He's signed up for next year. And so he'll be back for KU. And that was something that I think KU really worked to get done before the portal even opened. So that wasn't necessarily a question. So that when KU goes in the portal, and, I'll use someone like Cam Pickett, right? The wide receiver KU got from Ball State. And when I talked to him about his decision, he's like, well, the fact that Jalen Daniels is the quarterback is a big deal for me. So that's been something that KU, I think, was very smart to get negotiated, because that's how it works these days. And I think the Pete Thamel tweet was worded in a very careful way, where it was, he has agreed to a deal to return to the school, which is where we're at these days in college athletics, where you basically renegotiate a contract every year. And so KU's got him back, and that allows them to go in the portal and tell the wide receivers, tell the offensive linemen, the tight ends, hey, this is the quarterback for next year. You know who's going to throw you the passes. And I think that's been a huge selling point for KU, as they really try and talk to these portal players.
I saw some of the upgrades right now to the stadium. It looks nice. It looks like the progress is coming in very well. I'm excited to see what it looks like whenever they're complete.
Yeah, it is, and it's been crazy to go throughout the course of the season. And you're looking at, I think we're 54 weeks removed from when it started. I think it was first week of December is when they really started to tear things down. And so a year on, it is crazy to see how much it's changed. And for someone like me, you drive past it every week, like you see things, but then when you're in this time of year and, I'm not around the football facility as much, like you just see the photos and the videos and you're like, wow, it really is coming together. So it's going to be really nice. And obviously they're moving forward and getting things done to try and get kind of that east side done and start working on the actual kind of gateway district around that. That stuff's still going to come down the road. But all told, the project's moving in a good direction and at a good speed.
KU has one more non-con game left. They play Brown. Kansas is actually really good about this, playing a game around the holidays. So if you're in town, you can come in and see them. That game actually usually does really well. It should be a fun environment. As we are wrapping up non-con from KU, what have you learned? What is maybe a little bit worse off than you thought it was?
Yeah, so I think depth is going to be a huge conversation for KU, and I know it has been over the first kind of couple weeks of the season. You look at the depth of the team, and has it played out the way you thought? Not necessarily, right? AJ Storr, his acclimation process has taken a little bit longer than you thought. Rylan Griffin got sick, and that impacted him for about a week. And, KU's in this mode here where, the month of November, KU basically played twice a week. Well, in December, they're playing more once a week, so you're not seeing them as much. And I think, all told, you're not really able to learn as much in a crucial time of the year where a lot of this right now, the growth the team's going to have is in practice. And so I think for KU, you're looking at the Brown game, then you're looking into West Virginia to start conference play, and you're saying, man, AJ Storr really needs to figure this out. He has to be a 20-plus minute per game player. He can't be a 12 to 15-minute game player. Same thing for Rylan Griffin, because those are two spots where all of a sudden, if you're taking minutes away from them, those minutes are going to KJ Adams. And that's not necessarily something that maybe you want to do. And Bill Self has talked about it, right? He doesn't want KJ playing 36, 37, 30 minutes a game. He wants him closer to 30 or 28. Now it's a question, right? What comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? Do you have to give those players like Storr and Griffin minutes to get acclimated to earn that trust, or do you have to say you got to earn that trust in practice so that you can get it into game? That's kind of the big question. And then I think for KU, three-point shooting is something that you thought would be improved, but the numbers haven't quite lined up there. It's always hard with the non-con games because, again, it's a part of the season, but if KU all of a sudden catches fire during Big 12 play, then it's a totally different conversation. But for right now, I don't think the three-point shooting has maybe been as efficient or as generally productive as I think many would have thought.
That is our guy, Michael Swain, joining us on the show as we're going to wrap up our conversations around the 3 local schools. If you missed any of it, check out the podcast page. We had somebody on from K-State, somebody on from Missouri, and Michael Swain covers the Jayhawk. Mike, I look forward to catching up with you in a couple of weeks to get ready for conference play. I wish we could talk about KU making a bowl game, but
Maybe next year.
Yeah, absolutely. That is Michael Swain joining us on the show today. Rob, I do wish that we could have you know what? If KU was in a bowl game, we'd be covering it, man. We really would be. We'd have the coach on, the quarterback on, the running back. I might take off that day so we could broadcast the game, Rob. We would be the Liberty Bowl headquarters if KU was in a bowl game. Unfortunately, they're not this year.
I mean, it's a tragedy. We're all
it's sad. I know.
We're all saddened by it.
It's hurtful because I was looking forward to it this year. I really was. You told me they could make the college football playoff. That's what you told me. How do you go from the playoff to not making any bowl?
I mean, to be fair, I could like a Mizzou fan tell you, well, they're just one game away from the playoff. That's what Mizzou fans love to tell me on social media. If one thing had broken different, that 8-4, 9-3 team, they're a playoff team. Watch out.
Well, you know what? You guys were one game away from making the Pop-Tart Bowl. It's just, difference of, perspectives of how you want to look at it. Coming up on the other side, I got a chance to catch up with Jeff Chadiha. You guys know who he is. He does fantastic work from NFL Network. He said something that I thought was interesting, but I'm not so sure if you guys are going to think it's interesting. I'll play it for you next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This traffic is brought to you by Park & Go, your holiday travel made easy with all covered airport parking. Northbound 435, looking at about 7-minute drive from Metropolitan to K5. Northbound 635, 11 minutes from Georgia Avenue if you're headed to KCI. Heading out of town this holiday season, let Park & Go take the stress out of holiday travel with easy online reservations, free shuttles, luggage assistance, and all covered parking. You'll be Jingle Bell ready. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Happiest of holidays from Park & Go. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown, and he throws a block, and his teammate scores instead. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age and older. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Men, we hear it all the time. A man comes in to get his erectile dysfunction treated, and very soon thereafter, he tells us that his relationship is renewed. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and you should know that ED doesn't just affect you, it also often affects your partner. They can feel undesired, unwanted, they may even feel like you don't love them anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we've successfully treated thousands of men for ED with protocols that have success rates well over 90%, which means if you're like most men, we can get you back to the guy you used to be. You could even last up to an hour or more and find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and give your partner the gift of renewed love. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in our office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
This Christmas, the NFL is live on Netflix, and it's a gift you can't wrap. On December 25th, Netflix will be the home for 2 NFL Christmas Day games. At 1 p.m. Eastern, the 2024 Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs face the Pittsburgh Steelers, followed by the Baltimore Ravens versus the Houston Texans at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a holiday tradition you won't want to miss. Watch live only on Netflix. You won't want to miss it.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
Get even more savings this holiday season by becoming a Milo's Rewards member. Don't miss new member deals dropping every week, like $15 off a purchase of $50 or more on select Bounty, Charmin, and Puffs paper products. Plus, get free standard shipping with Silver Key status. Just one more way Lowe's is here to help you shop, save, and enjoy the holidays. Join for free today. Milo's Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change. Exclusions and more terms apply. Visit Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details.
We know you have a lot on your holiday to-do list. And at the UPS store, we're here to help. With our pack and ship guarantee, your gifts will arrive intact or you'll be reimbursed. Got holiday cards to print? We're also the premier printing store. We've got everything you need for every way you holiday. Visit the upsstore.com/guarantee for full details. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today.
Neighbors getting new roofs due to hail damage this year? Then you're a likely candidate for a new roof, too. Century Roofing, voted best roofing company in Johnson County 3 years straight, is giving back this holiday season. For all roof repair and replacement contracts signed before the end of the year, Century Roofing will donate a portion of proceeds to benefit Operation Breakthrough, which helps KC kids in need. Visit CenturyRoofingKC.com for an inspection today. That's CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing, trust the pillars of strength.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a pick six, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, I want to tell you guys the plan for the 4 o'clock hour, and I am willing to amend the plan. I have some Travis Kelce stats that I think are pretty eye-opening. Do you guys want me to share the Travis Kelce stats? Because I know how this goes. I share a stat with you guys get mad, you guys take my feelings about Travis Kelce out of context. I could give you guys stats that tell you Patrick Mahomes is the worst deep ball thrower in the league. You guys don't feel a way about that. In fact, you guys would say, thank you for finally telling the truth. I give you guys stats about Travis Kelce, and it's normally a problem. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. 913-586-7965. I would consider them to be three pretty good stats about Travis Kelce. But what I think is pretty good and what you think are pretty good are usually two different things. We're also going to be joined by James Palmer of NFL Network coming up in about 10 minutes or so. Really happy to catch up with one of the best reporters in the National Football League. All right. Now, some of you know this, but in my free time, I have another job. I work for SiriusXM. You can catch me on the weekends, SiriusXM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Jeff Chadilla came on my show on Saturday, and we were talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. He said a couple of pretty interesting quotes that I would like to play for you guys. This is him talking about the difference in last year, and last year's team struggled at the end of the regular season, but was able to figure things out and obviously make a run, and why he feels differently about this team. This is Jeff Chadilla of NFL Network.
Look, I think history can inform you on some things. I think last year what the Chiefs did was very unique, and I always tell people that their issues last year came down to performance. It was about catching the ball. It was about not committing penalties. This year it's about people, and it's about, finding people who can protect Patrick Mahomes, which has been very difficult for them at left tackle and right tackle, to be honest with you. It's about finding people who can pressure the quarterback. They had 57 sacks last year. They're way below that number now, one of the worst teams in the league in pressuring the quarterback. And the coverage, the back end really has not gotten a lot of attention because of the other issues, but that's become an issue in terms of, they're down to their third-string cornerback playing opposite Trent McDuffie. Shamari Corners had issues in the slot. The safety play has been very unreliable. So I feel like there's four things you got to have if you want to win a championship. You got to have good quarterback play. You got to have good pass protection. Got to have good pass rush and good pass coverage, and they got one of those things right now. It's so to me, it's like I think that you usually can rely on that stuff undermining you against better teams.
That was Jeff Chadilla of NFL Network. I want to play the other cut that he said. I think this is interesting. I have told you guys that I think that there are two sides right now of the Chiefs argument. There is the side that thinks that everybody is overreacting about the regular season and looking at the record and believing that everything is going to be fine. There is the other side that tells you something is wrong with the Chiefs and they are not as concerned with the regular season record. And we are going to find out who is right and who's wrong in the next month and a half. I do agree with him on this part. I don't know if the Chiefs have the right five up front. And last year, we had our questions about the offensive line, but they were able to really solidify the final 4 or 5 weeks of the season. They cut down the penalties from Jawan Taylor, and Donovan Smith was a pretty steady force over at left tackle. You've never had questions about the interior of the Chiefs' offensive line. Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey, and Trey Smith, those are three of the best offensive linemen in the league, regardless of position. But this year, it has been much more of a moving of the deck chairs and trying to figure things out. We are heading into Christmas. They still don't have left tackle figured out. The Chiefs, at no point this season, have had that position figured out. They have figured out a solution for every other problem that they have. I don't think they have a serious problem at wide receiver. They figured out the running back issue. Noah Gray has played really well, and they have a good 1-2 combination with Travis Kelce and Noah Gray. I think they're working through the back half of the defense with the secondary. Pass rush. Their pass rush is improved now with Charles Omenihu, and you have seen how much that has been a positive for George Karlaftis. Most of the problems that we have talked about with the Chiefs from the time they started in St. Joe up until today, they have come up with a solution. They don't have a plan right now at left tackle. If your plan is to play guys out of position, you don't have a plan. Or if your plan is, we're going to possibly play somebody who it is looking like DJ Humphries will only play 2 quarters this regular season. He is not going to play on Saturday. He has not practiced in a week and a half for this team. So if he's not going to play on Saturday, I'm not really sure how you're going to ask him to play on Wednesday with also no practice. So I think we're looking at DJ Humphries. Maybe he plays in the Broncos game, but I don't know why you would have him play in a game that could possibly be meaningless for Kansas City. So we're talking about them they're going to go into the playoffs potentially with a left tackle who has played less than 50 snaps for them for the season. That's a really, really difficult thing to do. So I do wonder if they have the right people up front. Do they have the ability to protect their quarterback and keep them upright? And can their offensive line allow them to execute offensively and accomplish what they need done?
It's going to be, I don't know, if $1 million, $1 billion, pick a number level of question with the Chiefs. Is their offensive line going to be good enough in the postseason to win? Because we've talked about it all year with the, there's two trains of thought. Carrington, we know if the Chiefs lose in the postseason, Monday's show is going to involve a topic of their left tackle failed against pass rusher X, and Patrick Mahomes was under constant duress, and it led to a turnover, or it led to him getting hit a bunch of times. It looked like insert one of the games this year where we've seen that happen, and playoff team Y was able to take advantage of the situation. We know the story. If they do not get better or more consistent, really both, better and more consistent left tackle play, they will more likely than not be exiting the postseason, because you cannot survive with nothing at left tackle against the Bills. You can't survive with nothing left tackle against TJ Watt in a playoff game. I know the Ravens defense stinks, but they're smart enough to identify, let's go after Wanye Morris in a blitz game. Like, it is not rocket science to figure out. And if the Chiefs don't get that up to par, they could be in big, big trouble. We know the result. It's a matter of, can they avoid that result?
I want to play one more cut from you guys from Jeff Chadiha coming up in a little bit. We're going to be joined by James Palmer of NFL Network. I was hosting on SiriusXM this weekend, and Jeff Chadiha of NFL Network joined the show. Here's what he said about Kansas City. And for the problems that I think Kansas City has, and their weaknesses I think are pretty obvious at this point, and I don't think that they're unique. Every team that we are talking about, like if you don't think that Kansas City's winning the Super Bowl and you think that Philadelphia is going to win it, I mean, Jalen Hurts is 31st in passing this year. If you think that Buffalo is going to win it, they need to prove it to me in the postseason. I also don't really think that they have great weapons on the outside, and their defense, we've seen their defense when challenged by good offensive teams, their defense usually springs a leak. Any team that we are discussing, there is a Achilles heel, and, I can tell you how they'll lose in the postseason. We've seen enough of the Detroit Lions. I tell you how the Lions are going to get eliminated. They don't have enough horses anymore. They might have had those horses in September. They don't have those horses now. It is also clear to see how the teams that we think can actually win this thing will win it. This is how the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl.
People always have revisionist history when it comes to who wins the Super Bowl. I think Tom Brady was a great quarterback for his entire career, when in fact the first three he won, it was more on a defense, run game driven team. And the same is true of what happened with the Chiefs last year. As much as they won it despite their flaws, they played a Miami team that was decimated by injuries in the first round. They played a Buffalo team that had a lot of injuries in the second round. And they played a Ravens team in the championship game that had the most bizarre game plan in the history of offensive football in a playoff game. And so I think they won those games, but they got some help along the way too. And I think Buffalo this year, even the Ravens, if they're able to get their defense straightened out, I think there are more teams understand that it doesn't matter where you play the Chiefs, doesn't matter when you play them. What matters is that you come and you have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to give you opportunities, and you saw that when they played Buffalo, that Josh Allen made a play at the end to win that game. Everybody who plays the Chiefs in the playoffs, if they want to win, better have that same mentality.
The one thing that you can say about the Chiefs in the face of anything, because I think there's a lot of things that you can use to kind of poke holes in Kansas City. Like, I've heard a lot of people say this, and I think it's a good point. I don't know what the Chiefs do really well right now on offense. Are they a team that you think can throw it really well? Can they run the football really well? I don't really know what their strength is right now offensively. So they are not a team without flaws. In order to beat Kansas City, you got to play well for 60 minutes. And so far this season, we have seen one team do that. In fact, we have seen one team do that in the entire year of 2024. Think about everything that has happened this year. We have only seen one team in the entire calendar year put together a 60-minute effort to beat Kansas City. You cannot play a 55-minute game. We've seen a lot of teams play well against Kansas City for 55 minutes. We've seen teams play really well against Kansas City for 58 minutes. You have to play well against Kansas City for 60 minutes. And if you slip up at any moment in those 60 minutes, you are going to lose. I don't care who you are. You could be Buffalo. You could be Detroit. You could be the New York Giants. You could play really well for 59 minutes and 30 seconds. If you don't hold on for that last 30 seconds, you are going to find yourself on the wrong end of heartbreak. And that's the formula for the Chiefs. You got to continue that pressure. Continue to protect your quarterback, run the football effectively, get your pass rush in order. All of the ingredients are there for this team to clearly make a deep run in the postseason. And until proven otherwise, outside of Buffalo, who's playing well in the regular season, you got to show me who is better. I just saw the Lions get whipped on national TV. Jalen Hurts is one of the bottom 5 passers statistically in the National Football League. All of these teams have incredible flaws and find ways to lose in a way that Kansas City doesn't. Coming up on the other side, we'll be joined by James Palmer of NFL Network. Keep it right here. So Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hi, it's Derek Johnson, and I know there's nothing better than being part of a team. A group of great people you can count on and learn from. The Sheet Metalworkers, local number 2, are growing their team and looking for quality men and women who want to build Kansas City's future. While you're making KC a better place, you'll also get great pay and benefits while gaining lifelong skills. Explore the possibilities at sheetmetal2.org. That's sheetmetal2.org. And take a step towards a fulfilling and rewarding way of life.
Pizza Taccio, the king of Kansas City's New York-style pizza scene, has taken KC by storm. Pizza Taccio uses the highest quality local and organic ingredients, hand-tossed by KC natives. Oh, and did I mention they were voted KC's favorite pizza? Place your order now for pickup or delivery at pizzataccio.com. Or stop in for a slice at any of their locations in OP, Midtown, North KC, St. Joe, Waldo, or Belton, and dive into the taste that's conquering Kansas City. One slice at a time.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth.
It's peaceful out here.
Yeah.
Oh, an owl.
Mm-hmm. And a bullfrog.
Is that a coyote?
I think that's a winner of the $100,000 cash adventure ticket from the Kansas Lottery.
Oh, yeah. I hear it now.
You could also win a $100,000 Bass Pro shopping spree. CKSLottery.com for details.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Let's talk about the buying experience at Lewisburg Ford.
It's the best anywhere. Just ask all our customers, Toby. It is hands down the best experience you can have buying a new car. We have the no-hassle Toby Tobin price that we've had for 35 years now. Nobody else can say that. We've been saving Kansas City thousands and thousands of dollars for a lot of years.
I have been buying Ford cars and trucks from Lewisburg Ford for over 30 years, and I know personally this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck. Great prices, but there's a whole lot more than that.
It doesn't just stop at price, Toby.
No.
There's other factors to this equation, and it's trade-in allowance, financing, and the experience of how knowledgeable the people are that you're dealing with. And we surpass everybody in all those areas. We always have. We always will. That's why calling us is important.
Do you have that new pickup?
Absolutely. And it's dynamite.
Okay. Lewisburg Ford is your best place to buy a Ford car or truck. What's your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Lewisburg Ford or LewisburgFord.com.
Kansas City is Sean Barber. You know there's nothing easier than to enjoy watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at Buffalo Wild Wings off I-70 in Little Blue Parkway in Independence, Friday, December 20th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champs while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
A Gain Scent Bead story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said, "Maraca, senor," but his nose said, "Hey, freshest scent ever." Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring a bottle of Gain Scent Beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness, Jim blurted, "Sir, your scent maracas smell amazing." Actually, Jim, most noses call them Gain scent beads. Try Gain scent beads, way fresher than detergent alone.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
At Metro Ford, family-owned and operated means the same trusted faces every visit. Just 10 minutes from downtown. Plus, get peace of mind with our 5-year, 200,000-mile pre-owned warranty, including roadside assistance and emergency trip interruption. Only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Seeing some traffic coming through the 435-70 exchange if you are headed eastbound on 70 through 435. Also slow into downtown via northbound 35. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Trey Smith. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by James Palmer. He is an NFL insider for Bleacher Report. He is one of our favorite people to pop on. He pops on periodically. James, happy to have you join us today, man. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you, brother. How's everything?
Doing fantastic. Let me ask you a couple Christmas questions before we dive into a little bit of football. I'm a believer that everybody has their Red Ryder BB gun, a believer that everybody has their Turbo Man doll. What was that for you? What was the toy that you wanted more than anything?
Oh, man. It had to be the original Nintendo. I mean, come on. It was the original NES. That was my jam. And mine from 1987 still works. And it's still at the house, but you got to use Game Genie. If you remember Game Genie plugging into the original Nintendo, you may not know this, but mine only works if you use the original Game Genie. It's the only way the cartridge stays in, but that was the jam for me.
James, how old do you think I am? Of course I remember the old NES. What are you talking about?
Well, your silence terrified me about our difference in age for a second there. I was like, wait a minute. I thought he was – okay, good.
I was just listening to you. I was about to ask you what were your favorite games. I didn't know if you were a Tecmo Super Bowl. Maybe you won a little Mike Tyson Punch-Out. I was going to ask you what you played on the NES.
Those are the top two for everybody, right? I mean, those were huge. I loved Super Contra. Got to get the spreader gun. That was always a big part, or else you didn't stand a chance if you didn't get that one. But those two, and then Blades of Steel was a huge one for me. The fighting aspect of Blades of Steel was a fight. Was the best thing in the world.
Right now, we're joined by James Palmer of Bleacher Report. All right, James, there's a lot of Chiefs injury news to get to, so let's get to it. What are you hearing about Patrick Mahomes?
From what I've been told, practice yesterday, obviously it was light. Those that were there that I talked to thought he looked pretty good. Obviously not 100%, but he looked pretty good. They've been really impressed. And I would say the term being surprised by the way he looks with ankle injuries is something that's not really happening to them anymore. He's been through this a number of times, and they're starting to just go, what Pat does to get well with the training staff we have and with his personal staff. He's so steadfast with it and sticks with it and does it pretty much 24 hours. He finds a way to get through these things. From what I was told, he's going to give this thing a go. That's the way it seems. Another day of full participant in practice. It looks like he's going to try to get out there and play on Saturday. I'm told he's not going to be 100%, but obviously he wants to go out there and play. But I think the thing we need to keep an eye on is this Houston Texans front is no joke. I mean, they believe they have the best defensive line in football. I'd say it's one of the best for sure. They might have one of the best edge rushing combos in football. So Pat's mobility obviously be important. We know everybody in Kansas City does how much he's been hit and how many times he's been sacked. It's the most he's been, hit per game in his career, sacks per game in his career. And I think we're all going to, be keeping an eye on how he comes out of this game, specifically with playing on Christmas Day as well.
So let's keep it with Patrick Mahomes, because I think there were two options. You could either do what it sounds like the Chiefs are going to do, try to win these next two games, and then you'll give Mahomes rest on the back end. Or what I would do if I was the coach is you have a game to play with. You have to go at least 2-1 in these next three games. So I would play Carson Wentz for this game, try to steal one at home against a Houston Texans team, and then try to give Mahomes an extra 72 hours to get ready for the Christmas Day game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, because you can't afford to lose one of these games. Obviously, that's not what the Chiefs are going to do. How would you play this? Would you, chance it, so to speak, with Mahomes on Saturday against Houston, or would you rest him and then try to get ready to potentially finish out for the last two games?
Yeah, I look at it, Carrington, honestly, if they get past Wednesday, because they play Wednesday and then obviously everybody else plays throughout the weekend, if they end up with the number one seed and he played that game on the 25th, depending on when they play the divisional round game, whether it's the Saturday game or the Sunday game, he's going to have either 24 or 25 days rest on that ankle heading into the postseason. To me, that's where I would bank it if I'm talking to the training staff, and obviously these conversations are ongoing and they continue to have them and they continue to monitor everything. If it doesn't get worse, or Pat has, I believe, somewhat, you can't control injuries, but he's pretty good at somewhat protecting himself that you don't make it worse after these two games in 5 days. That backside of it, I think, is just unbelievably appealing into the games where it's win or go home.
Right now, we're talking to James Palmer of Bleacher Report, one of the top NFL insiders that's out there. I do think the fact that they have done this before with Mahomes is a big advantage for them. I mean, this injury happened against the Cleveland Browns a couple of years ago. This injury happened against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So if there is a medical staff that can get a player as close to 100% as possible, it will be this staff with this player, because they have dealt with this injury multiple times.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And I actually even take it all the way back to, I remember just more or less stalking Patrick Mahomes outside the Broncos visiting locker room at Mile High after he suffered the dislocated kneecap so early in his career. And then following that injury so closely, and how he even wanted to try to come back into that game. And the reason I bring that up is I remember talking to Rick Buckhalter and all those guys and everybody, all the sources I had within the Chiefs was like, this guy's just, his ligaments are different than other people's. Like, yeah, they're maybe a little bit looser, but they bounce back and kind of, Gumby has been the term that's been used to me at times, talking about Mahomes' durability and flexibility and pliability. That maybe this is just one of those freak advantages that Patrick seems to maybe have physiologically, that allows them all to kind of understand his body well. He understands his body well, and he's kind of built, no lie, a little bit differently than you or I, and can manage these things a little bit differently. And to me, the other thing that jumps out at me is when you talk to people in the building, it's just like the competitiveness is through the roof, right? I mean, it's just like you're going to have to pry him off the field. He's going to be smart, but when his competitive juices get going, he just always seems to find a way to play and find a way to win.
James, outside of Kansas City and Buffalo, do you think there's any other team that could crash the party in the AFC? I look at Baltimore, their defense is getting better, but I think it's going to be tough to ask them to go on the road potentially for 3 straight weeks and try to get back to a Super Bowl. I like Pittsburgh, but is Pittsburgh a team that also could beat Buffalo and Kansas City in back-to-back weeks? Are we just looking at either one of those two teams, or do you think it's a little bit more open than that?
I think you got to throw Baltimore in there. And remember, they may not have to play 3 road games. I mean, they're playing Pittsburgh on Saturday, and they tie atop the division if they end up winning that game. So they very much well could win the AFC North and end up playing a home game. But I think we saw again, Lamar Jackson is as talented as they come in this league. We know right now with the way Josh Allen is playing mythical football that he's most likely going to win the MVP. Lamar's like first in the NFL in half the categories at the quarterback position, and he's playing the best football we've ever seen him play. and he's won 2 MVPs. So I wouldn't put it past the Ravens to be probably to the Bills the only real threat, I think, that can keep up with them scoring-wise. I mean, nothing against the Chiefs, but I think we've seen the sample size of their offense for the duration of the season. Can they slow the Bills down? For sure. They can have the ability to do that. But if you're going to go punch for punch in the AFC, it really looks like the Ravens are the only ones that could do that with the Bills. And now you've seen a healthier Mark Andrews. I think the car accident was a bigger deal than probably most people understand. And the number of weapons that he has. You're right. The defense, I mean, they trusted a young defensive coordinator and have some things that they needed to adjust and change. The way they've used Kyle Hamilton has changed a little bit. But I think that group does have the right to be in the conversation for sure with Buffalo and Kansas City. But I don't put Pittsburgh in there. I just saw their game in Philadelphia the other day. I don't see them doing that. And we had high expectations for Houston, but with the way their offensive line is playing, it's just going to be very difficult. I think they're still a good team. I would just say the three that I mentioned are the cream of the crop in the AFC.
Let's get back to the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's keep it with the theme of injuries. Let's talk about their left tackle situation with DJ Humphries. What are you hearing for him? Because I did the math. If you add today as another missed practice, he has practiced as many days for the Chiefs as he has missed practice with Kansas City. You would also have to think that he's not going to play on Saturday. Would also have to think on a short week, quick turnaround, no practice. He's probably not going to play next Wednesday against the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. The Chiefs could be talking about heading into the postseason with a left tackle who has played less than a game so far this season, and they have had a lot of questions at that position. What are you hearing about DJ Humphries and his development and getting ready for the remainder of the regular season and the postseason?
I think his arrival shows you the state of the position, right? I mean, to make this move as late into the year as you did, where they stand at the tackle spot, this compounds the issue with Patrick's limited mobility. And we know that, when you move Tooney out there, which would probably most likely, to my understanding, be the plan again, you're not only, you're trying to make the left tackle better, but you're also hurting your interior portion of the line as well by having somebody play out of position, and just kind of compounds the problem sometimes. And so, yeah, there's a very good chance that that's what they're working with. It really is. And they've been through, honestly, this before in the postseason with tackle issues. And so Patrick's mobility, to me, becomes even more important when it comes to the way these postseason games are played and the way some of these edge players play in this league, that you have to make sure that he can move, he can protect himself in these couple of games and get as healthy as he can for the stretch, because the situation that you laid out, and you laid it out pretty accurately, is the one that they're probably going into the postseason with. And so that's just the reality of where they stand up front. And that's why I think the importance of the rest heading into the postseason for Mahomes is even more important, because they know where they stand at the tackle position.
I know we're a ways away from this, and I'm sure I'll ask you some form of this question, in a couple of months or so. If you had to look into your crystal ball, what do you think the plan is for the offseason? Are they going to go into this maybe hoping that Wanye and Kingsley can develop? Do you think they're going to possibly be aggressive and trying to move up in the draft? Could you see them kind of putting some money together to try to spend some money at left tackle? I mean, the same way that over the last year or so we've talked about wide receiver, and they've addressed it. Second-round pick on Rashee Rice, first-round pick on Xavier Worthy. They have the exact same need currently at left tackle this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. This is a ways away. This is a crystal ball thing. And, I mean, let's be honest. How many tackles have you seen taken towards the back end of the first round, which is where Kansas City always is picking, that end up being really, really good left tackles? I mean, I can think of one maybe, and that's Garrett Bowles is the first one that comes to mind, kind of by Denver, picked in the back end of that first round a bunch of years ago, and he's been a decent left tackle. You got to get creative sometimes, and you got to hit on some of these picks. The good thing is it doesn't have to be a first-round pick. I mean, look at some of the best players on this roster on that offensive line. They're not first-round picks, whether it's Creed Humphrey or Trey Smith. You got to utilize the entire draft to find another way to fill this need, but you know it's a need. And I wouldn't be surprised with the way Brett Veach usually handles issues like this is what improves your chances, Carrington? Like, you throw more at it than you throw as much at it as you possibly can. Right, as many resources you can. I wouldn't be surprised if they draft multiple tackles to have all these players come in and see, who comes out of a really difficult Andy Reid training camp to play the position and protect Patrick Mahomes' blind side. Because the interior of the line used to be a problem. It was a massive problem in that Super Bowl. They fixed it. They drafted extremely well to fix it. Tackles are not everywhere, and that's a hard thing to find. And so I trust this group. I don't think you overspend, because the other part is tackles in free agency don't come about very often. And so you usually end up paying more than actually what the talent level equates to. So I would look for them to obviously go at this position the way they've done in the past when they have a need, and that's do multiple picks and have multiple options and then evaluate from there on.
There are a couple players who could be making their season debut for the Chiefs this weekend. Do you think that Hollywood Brown is going to play? Do you think that Steven Nelson is going to play on Saturday?
I'd say Hollywood Brown, I would say, is most likely going to play. I think the expectation is that he gets out there, and I think that's a big deal. I really do. I mean, you go back and you think about the way training camp was rolling, and it was like, what are all the weapons that have been missing in the past? And it's like, okay, Rashee Rice has taken a big step. Hollywood Brown had great chemistry with Patrick Mahomes. Then you add Xavier Worthy into the mix, and we got some players, and it's like everybody goes down. And I think Hollywood Brown getting an opportunity to go out there, I don't know how many plays he's going to go, but just getting out there with as long as he's been out and getting some snaps and getting in games prior to the postseason, I think it's really important, because he had a really good chemistry with Patrick in training camp, what I was told. So I think it's important to get him out there. I don't know about Steven Nelson. I might be a little bit different situation. But I think Hollywood is maybe the one we all should be keeping an eye on, just to be like, get out there on Wednesday, next Wednesday, and get an opportunity to start working within this offense, because Pat is so much feel the way he plays, and he needs to know the way you move, and getting a chance to get that back before the postseason, I think is huge. And I predicted this kind of in the beginning of the season. It hasn't happened exactly the way I thought it would, but there is a chance that this offense is different come January, and they're working towards that, and Hollywood Brown's a good step.
A lot of it is just going to be getting guys healthy. I mean, we talked about this earlier in the show, that for the most part, I mean, this is the team. Aside from DJ Humphries, I mean, there's really nobody else kind of coming to save some of the problems. I think the infrastructure is there. The Chiefs have to do a little bit better job at protecting Patrick Mahomes, but when it comes to their cornerback room, we'll see what Steven Nelson can provide. I think their pass rush was a problem. Charles Omenihu has been a big boost. The Chiefs, for the most part, have fixed most of the issues that they had maybe 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think so. And I think they were kind of buying, you don't want to say buying time, but kind of that was the case. You knew some of these were on the horizon. I mean, I can't remember how early into Hollywood's injury it was that I was told, back end of the season is very realistic. And so they kind of knew some of these things were kind of, on the horizon. They knew Omenihu was going to be coming back. And you just try to hold the course while you're doing it. I think that's a big part of it. And, yeah, I think this is the group they're going to take in the postseason. But that's kind of essentially everybody right now, right? I mean, nobody's getting anybody to come save them this late into the season before they head into postseason play. It's actually heading in the adverse side for a lot of teams. I mean, Buffalo got banged up last week. And so everybody's trying to, manage themselves health-wise the best they can heading into the postseason. And it seems like there are some, even though the quarterback and an ankle is nothing you want to hear with Patrick Mahomes, there are some bright spots to say that, there's some guys coming back and we can get a little bit deeper.
You know how during the Oscars, how they have that music that starts playing when it's time to wrap it up? I think your dog just gave us that sounder.
Yeah, he was like flipping out, I think my wife's walking out the door, and he's like, hey, where are you headed? So yeah, we got to wrap it up. That's fine. I might go play some Nintendo now that I'm thinking about it.
Absolutely.
A minute or two.
Absolutely.
Might have to beat Bo Jackson in the next hour.
Yeah. That is our guy, James Palmer of Bleacher Report, joining us on the show. He is an NFL insider. Happy to have him join us. James, happy holidays to you and yours, man. Look up with catching up with you closer to the playoffs.
Sounds good, Kerry. Have a good one, buddy.
Absolutely. That is James Palmer joining us on the show. His dog, was like, yo, wrap it up. I'm ready to go outside. You told me you were going to take me on this walk, and now you're not taking me on the walk. Very happy to be joined by James Palmer of NFL Network. Also does great work at Bleacher Report. Just want to get his thoughts on everything that is happening with the Chiefs and their injuries. Let me tell you that this next part of the show is brought to you by Brew Brothers at Harrah's, Kansas City. Now open daily for breakfast, lunch, dinner, mouth-watering appetizers, juicy burgers, steaks, pastas, and more. You can wash it down with your favorite ice-cold beverage, and you can just hang out and catch the game. You guys know what time it is.
With the knowledge you've been given, you are now on the inside of what I like to call the Burns family circle of trust. See, if I can't trust you, Greg, then I have no choice but to put you right back outside the circle. And once you're out, you're out. There's no coming back.
Well, I would definitely like to stay inside the circle.
As we are heading into the final home game for the Kansas City Chiefs in 2024, I think we can tell you pretty definitively that there have been two people that have permanently been kicked outside of the Chiefs' circle of trust. One of them is Joshua Uche. He is done. Back-to-back games, you get a healthy DMP. Now, maybe an injury happens, and the Chiefs are forced to put you back inside the circle of trust. But it seems as if the Chiefs have seen everything they need to see from Joshua Uche, and you're done here. He wasn't getting a lot of usage before, but back-to-back healthy DMPs, you're inactive, and you're not on the injury report. It's not like Joshua Uche is DJ Humphries and he's dealing with an injury, and that's the explanation of why he's out. No, you traded for him. You don't like what you've seen. You have made the decision to go in a different direction. You're out of here. I also think it's pretty safe to say that under no circumstances will we see Kingsley Suamataia. I think there's a chance we see Wanye. Like, Wanye to me now is the break-in case of emergency if an injury happens. He's your emergency quarterback. You don't expect your emergency quarterback to get in the game, but worst case scenario, if a couple of things pop up, you got to have somebody that can step in. That's who I think Wanye Morris is. So, Rob, as we are heading into the Chiefs' final home regular season game of the year, and you will not see the Chiefs back at Arrowhead until the middle of January. So if you want to go see them, you better go out to Arrowhead Stadium this weekend. There are two players who have permanently been placed outside the Chiefs' circle of trust. Joshua Uche is outside that circle, and Kingsley Suamataia. Everybody else is still inside their circle of trust. Everybody else is still getting snaps. Everybody else is still being used. Those two guys have been placed on permanent timeout.
The thing with Joshua Uche is so weird to me. Like, I don't know what happened there. I don't think we're going to get an answer in the season.
I think we know what happened. They don't think he can play.
Yeah, but he was, I mean, I'm not saying he was Terrell Suggs or he was, was it Bruce Smith with the Patriots, but he showed at an NFL level he can put up, when used properly, he can be effective. He has been team sweatpants in Kansas City. It's one thing to see him playing like, it's not there. He's played one game in Kansas City, and they're like, nah, this ain't it. We made a mistake.
Yeah, it's over. He hasn't played
yet. Did it ever
start? I mean, he was getting on the field. I mean, there was a game in which he played 20% of their defensive snaps. He played 9 snaps his first time he was here, and then bumped up to 11. He played 20%. You're thinking, oh, okay, all right. Hey, maybe there's a chance here. No, there was not a chance here. He played 1 snap on Black Friday on defense, and since then he has been a healthy inactive. They don't like what they saw. They watched the tape, they evaluated the tape, and they don't want him in the game under any circumstance. If an injury happens, he can't help us in special teams. He's done in Kansas City. I know it's unfortunate. They spent money on something. You're like, oh, man, they wasted that draft pick. They seem fine with it. They think Malik Herring is better for them. They think that Felix Onudike is a better scenario for them. They are not playing Joshua Uche anymore this season. Coming up on the other side, more of you said yes than no. I have a couple of Travis Kelce stats I will share with you. Keep them right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5. The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
The holidays are a magical time to get engaged. At Shane Company, we're here to help you create your dream engagement ring in just 3 easy steps. Choose a setting that speaks to your style. Compare diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. Then personalize it with a decorative crown and special engraving. Or choose a perfectly preset ring that's ready to go. At Shane Company, you'll find everyday competitive prices, a no-pressure environment, and an unmatched free lifetime warranty. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Make your first NBA bet a swish with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the who will win the game to how many points a player will score. Plus, check out newer bets like the number of dunks, assists, three-pointers in the next 3 minutes. It doesn't matter if you tap into FanDuel before the game starts or after it is already tipped off. You can pick up a dub whenever. And now is the perfect time to get in on the action. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex for your chance to score $150 in bonus bets. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA, and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
This Friday only in Old Navy stores. Long sleeve tees are just $5 for adults and $4 for kids. Yep, long sleeve tees are $5 for adults, $4 for kids. But hurry, this deal is one day only this Friday at Old Navy stores. Valid 12/20 in stores and select styles only.
This is a special report from the Missouri Lottery. There's still time to get holiday scratchers and draw games for everyone on your shopping list, even if you are the one at the top of said list. Don't worry, we won't tell. The Missouri Lottery. Play responsibly.
The election is finally over. Now you can get the cash you need. Imagine what you could do with $50,000. Pay off credit cards, do home improvements, or even pay off auto loans. Golden Oak's mortgage rate is 5.25%. There's no out-of-pocket costs, so call today and make no payments until next year. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
6.19 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
With us is Dr. Jason Anist at KCUC, and we're talking about men's health. I just saw blood in my urine. Should I be concerned?
Yes, that is definitely something you should take seriously. Blood in the urine is a common symptom of bladder cancer. It's not unusual for blood in the urine to happen only once, but that doesn't mean you're in the clear. There can still be a problem lurking. 1 out of 30 men will get bladder cancer at some point in their life. You really should talk with your doctor, preferably a urologist.
Is bladder cancer treatable?
Bladder cancer is very treatable as long as we catch it early.
And what are some of the options?
Treatment usually starts with a same-day procedure at the hospital and then may continue with additional treatments in the office.
Are there risk factors that make me more prone to bladder cancer?
Anyone who has smoked in the past is going to have a higher risk. And in fact, about 2/3 of men who get bladder cancer have smoked. It's not always the case. 1/3 of people have never smoked in their life.
See the experts at Kansas City Urology Care. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. To make an appointment, visit kcuc.com.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold, and for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
Football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown, and he throws a block, and his teammate scores instead. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age and older. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A stalled car stopping traffic in North Kansas City, southbound 35 at the on-ramp from Antioch. And we are seeing slowdowns eastbound 70 over that 435 exchange and in the southern lanes of the downtown loop. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
Chiefs fans, it's Nick Bolton, MIZ. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
All right, I have 2 Travis Kelce stats that I would like to share with you guys. I know you guys get mad when I share Travis Kelce stats, but he is their most targeted wide receiver this year. If you're going by targets this season, Travis Kelce has 115. Xavier Worthy has 78 targets. D-Hop is third in targets for the team with 51. So Travis Kelce is still their number one passing option on the team. That makes him a viable topic to me. The first stat I would like to share with you guys is in relation to the targets. Travis Kelce has 115 targets this year in the league. To give you guys an idea, there are 20 players in the NFL who have received at least 100 targets. So it's a varying degree of names. Jacoby Myers, Devontae Adams is on this list, Drake London. Most of the guys that get a lot of targets, you guys obviously know who they are. There are 20 players that have been thrown the ball at least 100 times this year. Travis Kelce is 19th in yards amongst those players. The only player that is in this category that has been thrown the ball as much as Travis Kelce and has fewer yards than Travis Kelce is Wan'Dale Robinson. He is also the only player who has a worse yards per catch this year than Travis Kelce for guys who have at least 100 targets. Now, if you want to extrapolate this out a little bit, where is this at in relation to some fewer targets? So I did this same thing, Rob, with guys who have at least 80 targets this year. There are 43 players in the National Football League who have at least 43 targets this year. Travis Kelce is 28th in yards in that group. Now, what do we do with these numbers? I don't know what to do with those numbers. I do have this question, though, given the volume in which Travis Kelce has gotten the ball so far this season. You guys are watching the same games that I'm watching. Can you guys explain to me how Travis Kelce has been throwing the ball 70 times more than Noah Gray? Because if I am looking at the production between the two players, maybe you guys are not ready to have this conversation. I am not sure if Travis Kelce is the best tight end that they have. And I know you guys think that I think that Travis Kelce is washed. No, I don't think that he is washed. But the numbers tell you that he is a significantly diminished player from where he was just 18 months ago. We are talking about a guy who was averaging around 12.5 yards per catch. It is now all the way down to 8.4. This is a guy that we looked at as being 1,000 yards every single year. He is at 700 yards. He is not getting close to 1,000 yards this season. He'll probably finish somewhere, maybe like 810, somewhere in that range, 815. That's giving him what? 40 more yards a game these next couple, which is about what he is at this point. I was sitting there looking at the numbers, and I'm like, how have they thrown the ball so much more to Travis Kelce this year than Noah Gray, when Noah Gray has been clearly the more explosive player between the two? So to give you guys maybe with the numbers, Travis Kelce has been throwing the ball 69 more times than Noah Gray and has less than 300 more yards than Noah Gray. That is a whole lot more opportunities for not a whole lot more production. If they had thrown the ball 69 more times to Noah Gray or 70 more times, he'd have 1,000 yards by now. I think we are seeing the changing of the guard. It is happening in real time with Travis Kelce. That next season, they should start the transition of making Noah Gray their number one tight end. And I think they are dabbling in it a lot right now. But if you look at the numbers, man, Kelce's getting a lot of targets and a lot of opportunities, which makes sense. They don't have a whole lot of other options at the position. But Rob, if we're looking around the National Football League, Kelce is being used like he's still one of the stars in the league. He only has one fewer target this year than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown has 116 targets. Travis Kelce has 115 targets. Amon-Ra St. Brown has 300 more yards than Travis Kelce does and 8 more touchdowns this season than him. So that is the gap between the player who is 10th and 9th in targets so far this season. One of the problems with their offense is their number one pass catching option is no longer explosive. That's a big problem in their offense right now, too. We can talk about the offensive line and Mahomes' accuracy issues, but one of the reasons is the guy that they used to give 140 targets to would get 1,300 yards. That guy is getting the same workload as he was getting and is giving you 40% less production than what he was giving you 2 years ago.
Okay, so those numbers scream something to me. And we're not having a conversation about if Travis Kelce still has it, if he's washed, but we don't need to do that. Why is Noah Gray not getting more targets and touches? maybe this is just me falling for the eye test, and the eye test is inherently flawed. I'm not disagreeing with that. But when Noah Gray is targeted, he seems to make plays. I remember the touchdown in Buffalo, the touchdown this Sunday. He is a guy that when they throw him the football, good things are happening. If Travis Kelce isn't the Amon-Ra St. Brown production guy anymore, which is fine, that happens to 34-year-olds, it's life. Why is some of his target and usage not going to Noah Gray? They like Noah Gray. Noah Gray is playing good football. They went out of their way to lock up Noah Gray. Like, I don't even need to have a Kelce conversation. Why isn't Gray getting more play and getting more time with the football based on those numbers alone? If you're telling me he's only 300 yards behind but is a massive target difference, then let's cut some of that target difference in half and get more Noah Gray touches going.
We can go through some of the explosive plays here. Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, you're doing the same thing. Did you not learn anything? This is my question to you guys. And it sounds like your guys' answer is, do you think Travis Kelce is coming back? Because if you think Travis Kelce is coming back, it would fix a lot of their problems on offense, especially in the red zone. They are throwing the ball to Travis Kelce like he's still that guy. Look at the numbers. He's 10th in targets this year. Think of the guys that you like most in the NFL. That is how they are using Travis Kelce still, and the production is not there. He's averaging 8.4 yards per catch. He was at 12.8 2 seasons ago. When was the last time that you remember a big, explosive play from Travis Kelce? He has 2 touchdowns this year. So we can talk about the offense, and left tackle is an issue. Mahomes' accuracy has been an issue. I don't know why we're afraid to talk about it, but one of the issues is their number one receiver is not a number one wide receiver anymore. We used to talk about Travis Kelce. He wasn't just tight end number one. He was wide receiver number one. He was maybe the best offensive player in the league, a skill position player. You'd rather have him than any running back, more than any wide receiver. They don't have that player anymore. That's where their offense went to. So we can look at the time that Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator for the team and what's changed now with Matt Nagy. Well, Eric Bieniemy had prime Travis Kelce and prime Tyreek Hill. That is not what Matt Nagy has as offensive coordinator, and that's not what they have at play calling. They cannot give Travis Kelce 140 targets next year. That time in Travis Kelce's career is over. It's over. That time's done. He can't get that volume anymore. So I think we are seeing the changing of the guard. It is time to use Noah Gray more. I think he's earned that the last 6 months or so. I think Noah Gray has become their best tight end and their most explosive tight end. And if you need a big play in the passing game, I think you're much more likely to get that from Noah Gray. There is not a stat this year that you can show me that shows that Travis Kelce's been better than Noah Gray. He's just gotten far more opportunities. He has almost 70 more chances to make plays and has 300 yards more than what Noah Gray has. If they divvy that volume up equally and split it right down the middle, Noah Gray would have better numbers this year than Travis Kelce. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk about DJ Humphries, who missed practice earlier today. Again, keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This traffic is brought to you by Park & Go, your holiday travel made easy with all covered airport parking. Seeing a stalled car in North Kansas City that is stopping traffic southbound 35 at the on-ramp from Antioch. Other than that, seeing heavy traffic eastbound 70 out of that 435 exchange. Heading out of town this holiday season, let Park & Go take the stress out of holiday travel with easy online reservations, free shuttles, luggage assistance, and all covered parking. You'll be jingle bell ready. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Happiest of holidays from Park & Go. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Hey, it's Alex Gold from Max Motors in Belton with their huge year-end heavy-duty sale. Every new 2024 Ram 2500 in stock is 20% off MSRP. New 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee, up to $13,000 off MSRP. Stock number S240367. Must finance with dealer lender. Offer expires 1/2/25. And if you're looking for the max trade-in values in the Midwest, it's Max Motors, just a short drive to Belton. Max Motors, the easiest place to buy a car, maxmotors.com.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
The college football playoff is here, and you don't want to miss a moment of the action. With the new 12-team format, it's guaranteed to be bigger and better than ever. TNT's coverage of the college football playoff begins December 21st, with SMU battling Penn State at noon Eastern. Then, Clemson Tigers look to upset the Texas Longhorns in a showdown at 4 p.m. Eastern. Watch the college football playoff, presented by Allstate on TNT and Max.
At Metro Ford, family owned and operated means the same trusted faces every visit. Just 10 minutes from downtown. Plus, get peace of mind with our 5-year, 200,000-mile pre-owned warranty, including roadside assistance and emergency trip interruption. Only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at tglgolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up. It's golf.
This Christmas, the NFL is live on Netflix, and it's a gift you can't wrap. On December 25th, Netflix will be the home for 2 NFL Christmas Day games. At 1 p.m. Eastern, the 2024 Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs face the Pittsburgh Steelers, followed by the Baltimore Ravens versus the Houston Texans at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a holiday tradition you won't want to miss. Watch live only on Netflix. You won't want to miss it.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City, now open. Dine on mouth-watering appetizers, then feast on one of our 6 American Wagyu burgers, including the Bacon Jam Burger and Blazing Burger. Wash it down with your favorite ice-cold beverage, all while watching the game on one of our 45 TVs. Dine in or carry out. Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City always hits the spot. Brew Brothers and Brew Brothers Express are now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This report is brought to you by WaysideWaifs.org. Save a life this holiday season. Wayside Waifs has rescued pets from puppy mills, hoarding situations, and found them abandoned on the streets. Give these homeless animals a second chance. Make miracles happen. Donate today, and your gift will be matched. Visit WaysideWaifs.org.
You can listen to the play-by-play of the Chiefs and Texans game with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Let me tell you guys that this hour has been brought to you by Baker, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in the state of Kansas. You can apply today at bakeru.edu. I want to read this text really quickly because you guys have me all wrong. Charger Dot, you're just trying to fire people up. Noah Gray is getting open because people still key on Travis Kelce. Kelce has easily had 150, 200-plus yards left on the table due to just being missed out there. You yourself have made points about Mahomes missing him. Now you want to talk smack. You can't do that, Chargers. You're being silly. I know that you guys don't believe this. I don't have any agenda in this. I just look at the numbers and then respond to the numbers that are there. Travis Kelce in 2022 had 110 catches for 1,338 yards and 12 touchdowns and averaged 80 yards a game. Last season, he had 121 targets. He had 93 catches, 984 yards, and 5 touchdowns, and had 65.6 yards per game. In 2024, he has only 6 fewer targets than last year, has 280 less yards. He went from 12.2 yards per catch to 10.6 yards per catch to 8.4 yards per catch. He went from 12 touchdowns in the regular season to 5, and he is currently at 2. What conclusion am I supposed to come to when I'm looking at those numbers? Other than coming to the biggest change in Travis Kelce is he's older. He's older. I still think that Travis Kelce is very crafty at finding open spots in zones, and I think there is enough chemistry there and synergy with Travis, between him and Mahomes, to find open spots in the zone. That's what the numbers are telling me. There are 20 other wide receivers or tight ends in the league that have been thrown the ball at least 100 times. Travis Kelce is 19th in yards out of those 20, and he is 19th in yards per catch. That if we're going to talk about some of the flaws in the Chiefs' offense, one of the flaws in their offense is their number one pass catching option and number one pass catching target has diminished in explosiveness in the last 18 months. And that is indicative in the numbers. It's not a personal vendetta against Travis Kelce. I don't have anything against Travis Kelce. Just going by the numbers. 12 touchdowns to 5 touchdowns to 2. He went from 12 yards per catch to 10 yards per catch down to 8. Tell me where in any other company you can take a 35% dip in your production and we not ask why or how. That's what's happened in real time. He's going to have almost 700 fewer yards than he had in a full season 2 years ago. What's changed with Travis? He's changed. I don't think it's his girlfriend. I don't think it's any of those things. I think he's a 35-year-old tight end that has played in 200 football games in his NFL career. He has made 166 regular season starts, and we even got to get into the postseason, Rob, with how much this team has played. He's played in another 25 postseason games. We're talking about a guy who, if you were counting games played, he has almost played in 200 NFL games, and he is 35 years old. The plan was he's not supposed to be your number one pass catching option anymore. That's why you went out to go get a Hollywood Brown. That's why you got Rashee Rice. But now you're back in this situation that you're really dependent on a 35-year-old tight end. And one of the reasons that they struggle in the red zone is he just can't create separation the way that he used to anymore. He's a different player than he was a couple of seasons ago.
So someone on the text line said this, and I will credit them for pointing it out. They said he's clearly slowing down. He used to be a yak monster. Now he just catches it and falls down. So I looked it up because while you were talking, I'm like, well, that does seem right, but let's see if the numbers back it up. Last year, which was a down year for Travis Kelce. 2023 was not gangbusters, 1,300 yards. I picked last season for Travis Kelce. He had 469 yards after the catch. This year, with 3 games to go, he has 285 yards after the catch. That is the sign of a guy who is still open, making plays, but it is, if you catch it at 7 yards, you're getting 7 yards. There was a time in Travis Kelce's life where you catch it at 7 yards, and that turns into 11 yards. If nothing else, that stat should show people he's slowing down and he's getting older. That's life. Where me and you were on the same page, and the text line appears to disagree, is I'm okay with him being 34. We just got to treat him like a 34-year-old. Don't treat him with targets and usage the way the Lions treat Amon-Ra St. Brown. Don't treat him with usage and things like that like any top wideout is in the league. Treat him like a 34-year-old guy who has begun to slow down but is still productive. I think the Chiefs had that plan in August. But Hollywood Brown got hurt, Rashee Rice got hurt, and then, Xavier Worthy I don't think developed at the rate they liked. So they kind of went back to the old staple And the old staple might be one of the reasons the offense looks sluggish, because he's just not the 2022 guy anymore. He's more the 2023 guy. And the 2023 guy, at this time last year, we were talking about, started to look like a 33-year-old. And another year on the body is just what happens to older players.
Yeah, and I guess we can move on from this. Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT referring to last year is ridiculous. He missed 2 games. Even with fewer time, he was a better player last year. He was a better player last year. I think what this argument boils down to, and I promise you we can move on and talk about DJ Humphries. A lot of you have criticism about Patrick Mahomes, and I think the criticisms are fair towards Patrick Mahomes. But I also think that one thing has changed and what has affected his performance is we have seen his offensive line deteriorate, and we have seen his weapons deteriorate before our eyes too. I don't think that I don't think that Patrick Mahomes at 28 years old is a diminished quarterback really in any way. We are talking about Mahomes when he should be, right? In theory, he's 28 years old, entering the prime of his career. This should be the best version of Patrick Mahomes. He is in his athletic prime right now. What's changed around him? His circumstances has changed. Mahomes has been hit more this year than he has ever been hit before. I'll give you guys a stat. This was from my guy, How About Those Chiefs? There have been 4 quarterbacks this season who have been knocked down at least 50 times. Patrick Mahomes is number 1 in knockdowns. You guys talk about how bad Joe Burrow's offensive line is. What if I told you this year that Patrick Mahomes has been hit more times than Joe Burrow's been hit? Patrick Mahomes has been hit 65 times this year. Joe Burrow's been hit 59 times this year. The Chiefs' offensive line has allowed their quarterback to be hit more than Joe Burrow has. And Joe Burrow's got Jamar Chase, who might be the best receiver in the league right now. Joe Burrow's actually having a really good year. His defense is terrible, but he's actually having a really good year. So I'm not saying that Mahomes is without blame at all. But if you think that Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, and we also agree that based on his age, he should be in his prime, why is he not playing up to that level? I think it's the offensive lines and the weapons around him. This offense would look different if their best offensive player was a 24-year-old Rashee Rice who would have 1,100 yards this season, 1,200 yards. And them losing Rashee Rice and losing that youth and explosiveness, you're not expected to have your 35-year-old tight end carry your offense at this stage in his career. This is when he's supposed to sit back and be a complementary role player piece. If this offense was supposed to work the way that it was supposed to, Rice was supposed to be your number 1. Hollywood was going to be your number 2, under 30-something in a contract year. And, hey, Travis, you can take the regular season slow a little bit and start to ramp up towards the postseason. But the injuries, I think, have just forced them to change their offensive philosophy this year. And I think you're just asking Travis Kelce to have a volume at this stage in his career. I just don't know if you can have being 35 years old. I just think that we say the father time is undefeated. I think the father time is affecting Travis Kelce. All right, Rob, let's get to the hits. Let's get to the top stories of the day in Kansas City.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
Carrying the hits are brought to you by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Well, everyone's eyes all week at practice were on Patrick Mahomes, but after he has practiced in full back-to-back days, our eyes have turned to his left, and DJ Humphries, who yet again today did not practice, only have 1 day of practice left before their game on Saturday. All signs are pointing toward DJ Humphries not playing again this week in Carrington. For a guy who got here in late November, is it fair to ask, based on his lack of practice and lack of play, if the Chiefs can in fact trust their newest free agent acquisition, left tackle?
The biggest question that I have for DJ Humphries is, what is the ramp-up process going to be for him? You can fade the music down. Let's talk about this. There is a ramp-up process that most players in the NFL get to go through. You get a month in St. Joe. You get a handful of games that don't mean a lot, but, you get to go out there, get a little sweat, and run around and play football for a little bit. And I think that prepares your mind and body for the start of the regular season. DJ Humphries does not have any of that, and this time was supposed to act as your de facto sort of preseason. You were supposed to play in 4 to 5 games in the second half of the year against really good competition. You're going up against the Browns' defensive front. You're going up against Houston's defensive front, Pittsburgh, Denver, a team that's going to make the postseason, and that was going to be a really good ramp-up period to get you to the postseason. It doesn't sound like DJ Humphries is going to have that time. If you look at the days missed so far, starting today, he has missed more days than he has participated in. Well, while being on the roster, he has missed more days of practice than he has actually practiced for this team. You would have to think that he's not going to play on Saturday, right? Would have to think that. I also think it's pretty hard if you didn't play in Saturday's game. There's not a whole lot of practice time between Saturday's game and also Wednesday. How many days we think they practice in preparation for the Steelers? Once? Maybe twice. Like, when are they going to do it? You're not practicing on Sunday. Maybe you practice on Monday, a light walkthrough on Tuesday, and then it's time to go play. So there's not a lot of time in between the Texans game and the Steelers game. So when do you kind of find that period? Now, I could see them doing this, Rob. I do think that this is a possibility. I would play DJ Humphries in the Broncos game. I think you need it. This time of rest is for the guys that have been here from start to finish. And I understand DJ Humphries' importance to the team, but Joe Thuney has played 500-something snaps this year. DJ Humphrey hasn't played that many snaps. So I actually think that he needs to play the Broncos game. And I think you use the Broncos game as his accelerated preseason. You can try to simulate as much as you can in practice and get him ready. Hopefully, knock on wood, he can play a full 4 quarters against the Denver Broncos and knock off any potential rust. You then allow him time to get ready, rest up, and be ready for the postseason. But I think football is already hard enough. I think it's really, really hard and somewhat unrealistic to expect a guy who was hurt at the beginning of the season, has currently hurt right now, and then think that he can just drop in the middle of the postseason cold and perform at the level of which I think the Chiefs need for him to perform. So I would treat that Broncos game like, hey, we're going to give you an extended preseason. You're going to play all 71 snaps or however long it is, knock off any rust, work on your timing. We can evaluate this film, and we should go from there. I think that Broncos game is going to be really important for him.
I agree with you, but someone on the text line points this out. If he doesn't play Wednesday, why didn't they IR him? Why didn't they give him all the time necessary? Because you would have gotten that 4-game window. That's basically what he's missed if he does not play Wednesday. You could have manipulated things with his hamstring. Now, maybe the answer is simple. It's a hamstring. You just don't know until you work out. It's how you're feeling. I know we've had people on the show say it's a matter of how they wake up. Matt Verderame said yesterday it's just a matter of managing things. But, man, if he can't play Saturday and he can't play Wednesday and he's playing with Carson Wentz on January whatever day that is that really part of a ramp up? Because that's not with the first team offense. That's not getting used to Joe Thuney on your right. That's not getting used to, like, there are nuances that need to happen with the real offense. And if you think he's likely out Wednesday, which wouldn't shock me, and we both think he's out Saturday, does he really benefit at all from playing with Carson Wentz and whoever, Mike Caliendo against the Broncos?
I mean, that's better than nothing.
That's fair.
He has not been playing. Like, I hear what you're saying. He has not been playing. How else do you practice and get ready for the postseason if you have not been playing at all? Period. With nobody. There is no simulating that in practice. You're not going hard in practice anymore. The training camp intensity, that time's over. That was August. We're in December now. Guys been playing football every day for 5 months now. There is no simulating that. So, yeah, you need to play the Broncos game. You need this game against Appalachian State. That's what you need. You need this game against Appalachian State. We got Oregon week 2. That's what we got. That's how I would treat it. You got Grand Valley State in week 1, and then coming up, we go on the road to play Michigan the next week. You need to get your reps in. That's how I would handle DJ Humphries.
Number 2.
And really quickly about the injured reserve list, answer to the question is, he couldn't play in the Broncos game, period, if they had IR'd him, because he would have had to miss 4 weeks. So he's missed 1 game already. You missed the game on Saturday. You potentially don't play in the game against the Steelers. That's just 3 games, and you can still be in line to come back for the 4th game. And you also couldn't practice during that time anyway. So, I mean, it's still possible that he can practice for the Chiefs as they get ready for the game against the Denver Broncos, where he couldn't if he was on the IR. So there was really no reason to IR him if you think he can come back and play at any point in the regular season.
Speaking of the game Saturday, the Chiefs' opponents, the Houston Texans, and someone named Tim Settle, who I've never actually heard of, he met with the media earlier today, and he started talking spicy about the Kansas City Chiefs.
I definitely see this O-line. It definitely has its leapholes, and it definitely has its their struggles. But I feel like that we can take advantage of that. We got an elite D-line. I feel like Pat's a little banged up, so I don't know if he's gonna play or not. But I hope he's mobile enough because we coming in Arrowhead.
You guys plan to get after that?
Yeah, for sure. Pat better make a good decision. I ain't making no threats. I'm making promises.
Carrington, there's that GIF on the internet that our friend Ken Swanson often tweets out where Patrick Mahomes is taking notes. Do you think the Chiefs have heard what Tim Settle said? And is it smart for someone named Tim Settle, who the average NFL fan has no idea who you are, to poke the bear of the Kansas City Chiefs?
I'm not going to be hypocritical here because in our profession, we like when guys talk and we like when guys give interesting quotes. So I'm not going to condemn Tim Settle for saying something pretty interesting. I just don't know what it benefits. This is only going to upset the other team. It is only going to put a target on your back. If I was the Chiefs and they're a very fine media department, I would already have all of this stuff fired up. If I'm the Chiefs offensive line coach, Andy Heck, when they come into meetings tomorrow, I'm showing this on the board. You know what? The morning meetings is just going to be watching this, and I want to know how you guys feel about this. Because in my opinion, these comments from the defensive tackle are not really an indictment on Patrick Mahomes. This is an indictment on other teams think they can get to you. Other teams are seeing what we're seeing when it comes to the film. We think that we can beat them at the point of attack. We know that football is a game of aggression. And if you're watching the film, you just saw Cleveland beat up the Chiefs' offensive line. Patrick Mahomes had his worst completion percentage day, and the Chiefs could not run the football effectively. And just, we know how football players work. If you're a team like Houston and you think that you maybe have the best pass rush in the league, which they are in the conversation of having the best pass rush in the league, you should absolutely feel like this is a matchup in which you can take advantage of. So from the football side of it, I definitely get what Tim Settle is saying. From the common sense practical side of it, I don't know why you would try to upset that other team. And over the last 5 years, tell me the team that has won the war of words against Kansas City. I can't think of it.
I mean, did Cincinnati?
I mean, the whole Burrowhead thing, they lost.
No, but the tuna in a can one, they won.
Yeah, I mean, you can win the tuna in a can one, but
that was a regular season December game. That's the closest I can think.
Yeah, if you had the whole thing of this is Burrowhead and your mayor declared it Burrowhead Day and they not like us day and all of these things and then you lose, I don't want to hear that you won the regular season battle between those two teams. Don't nobody want to hear that. There was a championship level fight. You lost the championship level fight. There is not a team yet that has won the war of words against Kansas City, and I do not think that it's going to be the Houston Texans, who just lost to Tennessee 10 days ago. I don't think it's going to be them.
Number 3.
Speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs and Texans, native Texan Xavier Worthy, or at least former Texas Longhorn Xavier Worthy, will be playing in the game on Saturday. You had some stats, Carrington, that might have to have me shut my mouth, as you believe the Chiefs' rookie wideout could be, in fact, turning a corner and could be more like the player we anticipated back in August, as he is starting to heat up.
You know what? I think it's important because a lot of people were critical of Xavier Worthy when things were going poorly, and I understand it in October. His October was bad. Like, there's really not another way to put it. It was bad. He had a game this year where he had negative yards from scrimmage. He didn't have a catch, and he had minus 10 rushing yards. Weeks 5 through 8 were looking kind of skimpy for Xavier Worthy. But you know what? Xavier Worthy has bounced back really well the last 5 weeks of the season and has been exactly what I think you want him to be. In the last 5 games for Xavier Worthy, he has 27 catches for 259 yards and a touchdown. I can live with that. That's productive. If you extrapolate that out, that's around 83 catches for about 790 some yards. I can live with that. That's really good for Xavier Worthy. So I do think it's important because a lot of people were critical, and you remember a lot of people were ready to call him a bust. But I will also be fair. There were a lot of you that said you thought he could have a Rice-like second half. He could have a Rashee Rice-like second half. Now, I don't think that he is currently having that, but you can live with this version. Currently, over the last 6 games, he is averaging 5 catches for 50 yards. I'll take that from Xavier Worthy the rest of the way. And I think they've done a pretty good job incorporating him in the run game. The last game is exactly what you need from Xavier Worthy. He had 6 catches for 46 yards. He also had the long run play that counted as a touchdown. He had 76 yards from scrimmage and scored a touchdown. Great. Give me that. Give me that versatility. Give me that speed. Give me the mismatch problem. Using him as a decoy with this speed. He was a difference maker for this offense against Cleveland. That is exactly what you need him to be down the stretch. He has broken through the rookie wall. It was looking kind of worrisome there in the middle of the season, but he has rebounded very, very well in the last 5-6 games.
I will say, I will credit the Chiefs for this. As someone who was probably in the camp of being hard on Xavier Worthy, they have found a role for him. I think early in the year, due to circumstance more than anything, Rashee Rice got injured, Travis Kelce looks like he might be a little bit older. They had Hollywood Brown on the shelf. I think early in the season, their plan in St. Joe was Xavier Worthy is going to be deep threat guy. He had the fastest combine time ever. Watch this. He's going to take the top off the defense. He's going to be kind of what McCole Hardman was in year 1. It's going to be ease him in. We're not relying on him. As time went on and they had to become more reliant on him, I think they went away from you're going to be deep threat guy, which we could be critical of that because I don't think the Chiefs are a very good deep passing team, which is concerning and frustrating with Patrick Mahomes, but maybe he's having a bad season. Maybe it's O-line, maybe it's play calling. We don't have to get into all that. The point is, I think they got away from making Xavier Worthy go run deep routes guy, and they found a role from him. It's like little throws to the flat, beat a guy upfield. It's little jet sweep, could be runs, could be passes, get 9 yards. Like, it is more the route tree than I think they anticipated in August, and they are getting the most out of him. And I think he's not Rashee Rice level of turn the corner, but it is the best to get this offense up and going.
I don't need them to be home run guy. Like, I understand the feeling of the Chiefs need that over the top, take the top off the defense play. That is not a huge concern to me. The Chiefs are 26th in the NFL at turning red zone opportunities into touchdowns. If you want to know where they can make the real improvement and where Xavier Worthy could help, where Hollywood Brown could help, where putting DeAndre Hopkins on the field more can help this team, it's that. Can the Chiefs get towards the upper half of red zone efficiency? And if they can get to the upper half of red zone efficiency, that, to me, can take the place of you needing the big play. The Chiefs' problem is not their inability to move the ball up and down the field. They're really good from the 20 to the 20. It is about converting those scoring opportunities and turning 3 into 7. And if they can do that, I'm cool with them not figuring out the deep ball this year with Xavier Worthy, but finding how he can help them in those short yardage situations and using his explosiveness and elusiveness to turn field goals into touchdowns. That's where I think they can see improvement. Keep it right here. You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Every Friday night, FanDuel is giving all customers an even bigger payout on select NBA first bets. First bets let you get in on the action from the opening tip. You can bet on things like who will score the first basket of the game and which team will be the first to score 15 points and so much more. And best of all, you don't have to wait the entire game to see if your bet cashed. All you need to do is look for Friday First in the FanDuel app to find your profit boost. Check out FanDuel.com. Use the promo code KFNZ to claim your Friday First profit boost. So remember to make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning diamond pendant, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect gemstone piece or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
At GiveMeTheVin.com, we like pretty cars. We like nice cars. We'll pay extra. If you think you've got a good one, go to GiveMeTheVin.com. We'd love to buy it.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Inside the Huddle with Cody and Gold, each day from noon until 1 on 610 Sports Radio. Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue on the official radio partner of the Kansas City Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Pizza Taccio, the king of Kansas City's New York-style pizza scene, has taken KC by storm. Pizza Taccio uses the highest quality local and organic ingredients, hand-tossed by KC natives. Oh, and did I mention they were voted KC's favorite pizza? Place your order now for pickup or delivery at pizzataccio.com. Or stop in for a slice at any of their locations in OP, Midtown, North KC, St. Joe, Waldo, or Belton, and dive into the taste that's conquering Kansas City. One slice at a time.
Thanks, Bob. We're here with Doug the Elf, asking about the hottest holiday gifts of the year. Doug, what's on your list?
Yeah, we're getting Missouri lottery scratchers and draw games. We came all the way from the North Pole.
They don't have lottery tickets there?
Now, Missouri lottery tickets. They created a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year. Woohoo! I just won!
But I thought that was a gift.
Well, yeah, for me.
You heard it here first. Scratchers and draw games from the Missouri Lottery make great gifts for the holidays. Play it forward and play responsibly. Back to you in the studio.
Kansas City is Sean Barber. You know there's nothing easier than to enjoy watching the Chiefs with some wings and an ice-cold Bud Light. And Buffalo Wild Wings is serving up both for every game, all season long. Join me at Buffalo Wild Wings off I-70 in Little Blue Parkway in Independence, Friday, December 20th. I'll be there from 6 to 8 p.m. celebrating the back-to-back Super Bowl champs while eating some wings and drinking $5 Bud Lights. Nothing easier to enjoy than that. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
For more, go to 965thefan.com. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's better over here.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits, and if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Join 96.5 The Fan and Bud Light for the Fans Football Show with Mitchell Schwartz or Sean Barber and Jay Binkley every Friday this football season starting at 6 at participating Buffalo Wild Wings locations, Enjoy $5 talls, prizes, and Chiefs gear. For a list of locations, go to 965thefan.com. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This traffic report is brought to you by Park & Go, your holiday travel made easy with all covered airport parking. Things heavy into downtown northbound 35, also along the southern lanes of the downtown loop, and a two-car crash now reported northbound 35 on the southwest side of the metro just before Santa Fe Street. Heading out of town this holiday season, let Park & Go take the stress out of holiday travel with easy online reservations, free shuttles, luggage assistance, and all covered parking. You'll be jingle bell ready. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Happiest of holidays from Park & Go. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Chiefs fans, it's Rashee Rice. Welcome to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, there's a couple of things I want to get into before we have to sign off. We got about 30 minutes left on the show. Let's start with a little bit of basketball. K-State played Drake yesterday. Congratulations to Drake. They are undefeated right now, and they have wins against Vanderbilt, Miami, and K-State. Drake, barring a pretty big collapse in their conference, they should make the NCAA tournament, and I think they're going to be a really tough out for somebody. They'll be a really dangerous 10 seed or 11 seed. It's going to be a minus 2.5 point, 3-point underdog. Drake has the possibility of being a team that can make a Sweet 16 run. They are well coached. They're deep. They have great guard play, and they're well coached. That's a team that can make noise in the NCAA tournament. Let's talk about K-State, because K-State fans, I think you guys have room to be upset. Jerome Tang was screaming poverty just 6 months ago, looking to get more NIL money. And you know how these coaches do. I was just reading a story during the break about Alabama, how they're dealing with the same thing and the rapid changing economics of college athletics and how they need more of your money and need you to donate. And they get you to donate. And you know what? Cool. We understand it's college athletics. You got to pay to play. You get that. So everybody donate what you can. And they did a really good, there's some donors they're going to give that big money to. But they did, it was like, we need 1,000 people to give $1,000. And look what you can do for K-State athletics. And K-State raised that money. And they went out and they spent a lot of money on this basketball team. They stink. This is the analogy I'll make. Just because you have a lot of designer clothes, it does not mean that you have a great sense of fashion. We all know somebody that maybe spends a lot of money on clothes, and you look and you're like, that sweater was how much? You spent that much on those shoes? It's your money. I can't really say nothing, but it seemed like there was some better choices that you could have made. K-State spent a lot of money on their basketball team. They're not going to make the NCAA tournament. Unless they get hot in Big 12 play, which obviously is a possibility, but all the parts don't fit together with K-State. I watched them 3 separate times this year. I've never been impressed by this K-State team. I watched them last night. I watched them play St. John. I watched them earlier in the year. This K-State team I'm not super confident in their ability to turn things around and get things right in conference play. But what has to upset you and frustrate you as a K-State fan is the same money that they asked you for and asked you to donate, now they're telling you that potentially was a bad thing. Listen to this.
Great group of dudes there. And they're working really, really hard, and they're trying to put into just a few months what, some of the teams have multiple years to do. And, you see a lot of this, but for any fans, like the ones or any people who are reaching out and saying negative things to these guys, man, shame on you. Shame on you. We watched this, on the way up, we watched the ESPN 30 for 30 broke, and I've seen it multiple times. But the thing that stood out to me this time was all of the athletes talked about the pressure that built when they got money, right? The first few times I watched it, it was about how they just wasted their money. But this time what really stuck out was the pressure that they face when they have money, because they feel like, well, I've got to try and deliver something. now because I'm being paid. And these young guys, they're feeling that pressure, right? And for fans, so-called fans, to like add on top of that, that's a crime, and that's just terrible.
Jerome, I'm sorry to pass this message to you. What you just described is work. This is where I think we got to start treating these kids how they want to be treated. These kids want to be treated like adults. And I'm all for that. That's what college is about. College is about preparing you in real life situations to go out into the world and be an adult. You college players now want an obscene amount of money to play basketball. And I have never for a second told you, don't go get it. Hey, go get it. If Adidas wants you to be in their commercial, go do it. If you can be an Instagram influencer and make all this money, hey, go take it. That comes with a certain level of responsibility. If you didn't want that responsibility, then don't play high major basketball and ask for the amount of money that comes with you playing high major basketball. That's the job you signed up for. There are obviously some exceptions in life, but for the most part, nobody cares how hard your job is. They don't. There are some exceptions. Policemen, firemen, teachers, doctors, yes. We acknowledge those are very difficult jobs. For the rest of us, for the 95% of us that don't have a job in that field, no one cares about how hard your job is, especially if you get a lot of money to do it. Figure it out. This is what you signed up for if you want to play high major basketball and you command the price tag that they command. I said this when it happened, Rob. The story that came out about Coleman Hawkins is the worst thing to happen to K-State. We all think that these guys are getting paid, right? It's different when they put an actual number to it like they did with him. And we all know how social media works, especially if you're a college student. I'm assuming that he is getting absolutely pummeled in his DMs. I'm assuming that you can't get on the phone without text. These young people are just filled with so much information and noise. And you're not always equipped at 19, 20, 21-year-old to handle all of the noise. This is the job that you signed up for. So I'm sorry, K-State. I don't feel sorry for you. You guys want to play big-time major college basketball? This is what comes with it. You guys got big-time donor dollars, and you guys were big-time players in name, image, and likeness. Now don't tell me that that's why you guys are struggling and the pressure of dealing with it. The kids at Duke are getting a lot of money, too. The kids at KU are getting a lot of money, too. Everybody is getting money. There's no rules to it anymore. You guys don't want to hear some of the numbers privately that we've heard thrown out about there. If you're playing at this level, you are a six-figure earner. And that's just if you're just a good college basketball player. You don't want to get into if you're one of the higher-end guys. I just was reading a story during the commercial break. You know the Diego Pavia kid, right? The kid that goes to Vanderbilt. Great quarterback this past year. In his appeal to the Supreme Court to get him extra eligibility to play one more year at Vanderbilt, he said he believes that he thinks he can make $1 million in name, image, and likeness this year. As the quarterback at Vanderbilt, they're all getting big-time money, man. They're all getting big-time dollars. I'm sorry. This is what you guys wanted. You guys wanted to get paid, and you guys wanted to be pro athletes. Then you got to accept all of the challenges that come with being a professional athlete. I'm sorry. The criticism is heightened now. And then you throw in gambling. You done cost somebody their parlay, and you getting $2 million? I imagine it ain't fun. So, K-State, good luck to you. I'm really pulling for you. I really want you guys to do well. I like Jerome Tang. I like K-State. It's fun when all three of the local basketball teams are good. Well, we know one team for sure is making the tournament, and I think Missouri's got a shot to make the tournament. K-State, I'd love for you guys to be in that conversation, but you got to start playing better, and it starts with internally. You guys have some internal issues that you need to fix and that you need to work on. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Fellas,
the holidays are a time for love and for joy, but if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction, then the holiday season can be tough on you and your relationship. I'm guessing the first time this happened, maybe you laughed it off, but it continues to happen, and now it's become a real problem. Stop settling for good enough. You deserve more than that. Your relationship deserves more than that. And Heartland Men's Health is here to help. Their treatments work when pills and herbs have failed, with a success rate over 90%. For just $99, you can get a full medical consult, lab work, and a test dose of treatment. And if that doesn't work in the office, then the visit is free. Don't let this ruin your holidays. Heartland's Men's Health has 3 area Kansas City locations in Kansas City, Overland Park, and Independence. Pick up the phone and make a change in your relationship. 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com today.
Well, guys, you did it again. Even though Christmas is on the same date every year, you got busy, and now it's crunch time. And you got nothing for her. Well, that's not exactly true. You got me. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, where there are 3 things we do better than anyone else. We have better diamonds at better prices than even the online guys. We have the most skilled and technologically advanced custom jewelry shop within 200 miles. And no one, I mean no one, personally takes care of last-minute shoppers like I do. Hey, until I opened House of Diamonds, that last-minute guy was me. So I get it. Come in and see me. I'll show you a collection of one-of-a-kind pendants, earrings, bracelets, and rings that will blow her away. She'll think you started working on this back in July. Fellow procrastinators, I've got your back. Come see me at House of Diamonds. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold, and for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
Christmas is just around the corner, and if you're wondering what gifts to give friends and family, no worries. Gates Barbecue is here to help. Gates gift packs and combo packs are tasty gifts for the barbecue lover on your list. And Gates gift cards and logo apparel are perfect stocking stuffers, or if you're exchanging gifts at the office or you have family out of town. Visit their website, gatesbbq.com, and ship right to their front door. Remember, buy Gates. It's a Kansas City tradition.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
This report is brought to you by WaysideWaste.org. Save a life this holiday season.
Wayside Waves has rescued pets from puppy mills, hoarding situations, and found them abandoned on the streets. Give these homeless animals a second chance. Make miracles happen. Donate today, and your gift will be matched. Visit waysidewaves.org.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This traffic report is brought to you by Park & Go, your holiday travel made easy with all covered airport parking. Things heavy into downtown northbound 35, also along the southern lanes of the downtown loop, and a two-car crash now reported northbound 35 on the southwest side of the metro just before Santa Fe Street. Heading out of town this holiday season, let Park & Go take the stress out of holiday travel with easy online reservations, free shuttles, luggage assistance, and all covered parking. You'll be Jingle Bell ready. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Happiest of holidays from Park & Go. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Kane is in the building.
Welcome to your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
This comment is going to come off like I'm hating way more than I am, but you guys are probably thinking the same thing. Rob, did you know today that a court ruled that your JUCO years don't count towards your NCAA eligibility? So, like Last Chance U, if you go to Hutchinson for a couple of years, you can still transfer to Kansas and still have all 4 years of your eligibility. So that is a major, major difference in college recruiting. I feel like a lot of these rules that we have just really hurt high school freshmen. I guess college freshmen, high school seniors. Like, I don't really know why you would invest a lot of resources right now into high school seniors if they keep creating every single rule that make it easier for you to recruit a 21-year-old as opposed to an 18-year-old. And we're all grown men here for the most part. Obviously, some women are listening to the show, but you guys get the point I'm making here. You were much different physically at 21 than you were at 18. And I'd rather just load up on those 20 to 22-year-olds than try to have a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds. So that is a really big rule in college athletics if they're not going to count your JUCO years towards your NCAA eligibility, especially in football. You can go to JUCO now, get your grades right, and then transfer to the D1 school that you want to and still have 4 years. This is a really, really big ruling.
And also, me and you have talked in the office about how one of the problems right now with college sports, and I love college sports, you love college sports, is we have 5th and 6th and 7th year seniors playing the sport. This is going to only make that more the norm. Think about it. If you're a kid and you're make them a 5-star, and you go to Alabama, doesn't work out, why would I transfer to South Carolina? I can transfer to JUCO, get a weight program, play football, and I'm maintaining a year of eligibility. And then when I enter the portal after JUCO, that same South Carolina offer is going to be there, but maybe I'm more desirable now because I'm carrying 3 years of eligibility or 4 years of eligibility. Like this, the JUCO years not counting thing is a very slippery slope because you might have, we already have a problem in college football with 55-year-olds playing. This might be a bigger problem.
Yeah, I just don't know what the rules are anymore. Maybe there's just I just don't know if there's rules anymore. Like, I'm just not really sure if there's rules. So that is
right. There was a time where you were doing the show and I was in the show at a different station where high school signing day was a massive deal.
Yeah, it's over.
It's not.
Well, I'm not going to say it's over.
It's not a massive deal. It's just part of the equation.
Yeah, and again, I just think the way that the rules are right now, I don't think it's certainly not in your basketball team's best interest to load up on freshmen. It's just not in your basketball team's best interest. Half of those kids are going to transfer anyway. So if you're Kansas, maybe you take 1 or 2, and if you're Kansas, you can be really selective with the high school seniors that you have. Other than that, I'm hitting the portal. And if I need a big guy, yeah, I'm just going to go get a big guy. I've seen him play 3 years of college basketball. He'll be here 1 more year, 2 more years, and then we'll send him off to the league and we'll start the process again. So that's a really, really big ruling. I just saw that come down the pipe from Matt Jones of Kentucky Sports Radio. You know what I'm starting to realize? This is going to sound really crazy that I'm saying this out loud. And for the longest time, I will say I was like pretty anti-company. Like, man, I'm not going all that company stuff. No, man. You know, I'm trying to be a little better. I'm trying to have more office camaraderie. Holiday Christmas party is like a really big deal. So we have our company holiday Christmas party coming up in a little bit. It's from 6 to 9. And like people are talking about, oh, and what are you wearing? I'm looking at them confused. Like, bro, what am I wearing? What I have on to work? Like, you thought I was getting dressed up to then go hang out with you? That doesn't make any sense. I see you all the time. This isn't like a wedding or some kind of formal function. We're just going to stand around and we're going to eat and drink and we're just going to make small talk about what TV show or catching up with your kids. I need to be dressed up for this occasion? Rob brought a change of clothes. Rob has a nice sweater in the back. Are you bringing anybody to the company party? Is your wife coming?
My wife, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if she was coming.
She's coming.
You know, some people, they don't let you bring your spouse.
I know. Well, in years past, this company hasn't let me bring my spouse. Well, at the time.
What was going on that you couldn't bring your spouse?
Well, the party was from 4 to 6, which was a little bit of a killer.
Yeah, so we have a real holiday party now.
I mean, I guess you could have come if I could have gone, but from 3 to 7, it wasn't really an option.
Yeah. Well. All right. Well, I'm happy to be here with you guys. I'm excited to go to our Christmas party. All right. I'm out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Enjoy your evening. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new